Once upon a time, in a land where the moonlight shimmered on every leaf and the stars sang lullabies to the night, there was a hidden orchard known as the Moonlit Orchard. This orchard was famous for its magical fruit, which could grant a single wish to anyone who found it under the light of a full moon. In a small village near the orchard lived a boy named Elric. Elric was a dreamer with a heart full of wonder. His greatest wish was to bring joy and prosperity to his village, which had fallen on hard times. The villagers had heard whispers of the moonlit orchard and its magical fruit, but no one had ever managed to find it. One night, as the full moon began to rise, Elric decided to embark on a quest to find the orchard and make his wish. He packed a small bag with a few essentials and set off under the silvery light of the moon. The journey to the moonlit orchard was filled with enchantments. Elric walked through fields of glowing flowers and past streams that sparkled like liquid stardust. The path seemed to shimmer and change with each step, as if the moon itself was guiding him. As Elric ventured deeper into the forest, he encountered a wise old owl perched on a branch. The owl's eyes glowed with the light of the moon. "Where do you go, young traveler?" the owl asked in a voice that sounded like rustling leaves. "I seek the moonlit orchard," Elric replied. "I wish to bring prosperity to my village." The owl studied him for a moment before nodding. "To find the orchard, you must pass 3 trials, each testing your heart and courage." Elric nodded, determined to succeed. The owl pointed him towards the first trial. The first trial was a bridge made of moonlight that spanned a chasm filled with mist. As Elric stepped onto the bridge, it began to sway and shimmer. He took a deep breath and carefully made his way across, focusing on the light of the moon to guide his steps. Just as he reached the other side, the bridge vanished behind him. The second trial was a meadow filled with luminescent flowers that whispered secrets to the wind. Elric needed to find a single golden flower hidden among them. As he carefully examined each flower, he heard their soft whispers, but he didn't let them distract him. Finally, he spotted the golden flower nestled in the tall grass and picked it gently. The final trial was the most challenging. Elric arrived at a glade where a majestic, ancient tree stood, its branches glowing with moonlight. The tree spoke in a deep, resonant voice. "To pass this trial, you must give up something precious to you." Elric thought about his family, his friends, and his dreams. He realized that what mattered most to him was the happiness of his village. With a heavy heart, he removed a small locket from around his neck, a gift from his grandmother. He placed it at the base of the tree as a symbol of his sacrifice. The tree's branches swayed, and a gentle breeze whispered through the leaves. "Your heart is pure, and your sacrifice is great. You have passed the trials. The moonlit orchard is now yours to find." Following the guidance of the moonlight, Elric soon reached the moonlit orchard. The trees were laden with fruit that glowed softly in the moonlight. He picked a single fruit and held it close, feeling its warmth and magic. As he closed his eyes and made his wish for his village, a gentle breeze carried his words through the night. The orchard's magic took flight, spreading joy and prosperity across the land. The village awoke to find their fields lush and their homes filled with happiness. Elric returned to his village as a hero, but he never forgot the lessons of the moonlit orchard. He continued to help others, always guided by the pure heart and courage that had brought him to the magical orchard in the first place. And so, the village thrived, and the moonlit orchard remained a beacon of hope and magic in the moonlit nights, reminding all who sought its wonders that true magic comes from the heart. The end. Once upon a time, in a quaint village surrounded by rolling hills and dense forests, there was a legend about a magical flower known as the moonflower. It was said that the moonflower only bloomed once every 100 years under the light of a full moon, and its petals could grant a single wish to anyone pure of heart who found it. In this village lived a young girl named Lila. Lila was known for her kindness and bravery. She often helped her neighbors and cared for the animals in the village. Despite her humble life, she always dreamed of embarking on a grand adventure. One evening, as Lila sat by the edge of the forest, gazing at the full moon, she heard the village elders talking about the moonflower. They spoke of its elusive beauty and the magical wish it could grant. Lila felt a surge of determination. She decided that she would find the moonflower and make a wish for the well-being of her village, which had been struggling with a long drought. The next morning, Lila set out on her quest. She packed a small satchel with essentials, a flask of water, some bread, and a warm cloak. Guided by the stories she had heard, she ventured into the forest, following the moon's light. As night fell, Lila found herself in the heart of the forest, where the trees grew tall and the air was filled with a gentle, otherworldly glow. The moonlight filtered through the leaves, casting shimmering patterns on the forest floor. Lila followed the light, hoping it would lead her to the moonflower. After hours of wandering, Lila came upon a clearing bathed in silvery moonlight. At the center of the clearing stood a small, delicate flower with petals that glowed like moonlight. It was the moonflower, blooming in all its radiant glory. Lila approached the moonflower with awe. She knew this was a rare and precious moment. As she reached out to touch the flower, a soft, melodic voice spoke from the shadows. "You have found the moonflower, brave Lila. But to make your wish, you must prove your heart is true." From the shadows emerged a gentle fairy with shimmering wings and a wise, kind expression. "I am Leora, the guardian of the moonflower," the fairy said. "To make your wish, you must answer a riddle. Only then will the magic of the moonflower be revealed." Lila nodded, ready for the challenge. Leora's eyes sparkled as she recited the riddle. "I dance on the wind, I sing in the night, I bring joy and wonder, I'm never in sight. What am I?" Lila thought carefully. She remembered her adventures, the nights she had spent under the stars, and the dreams she had cherished. With a smile, she answered, "A melody." Leora smiled warmly. "You are correct. A melody is indeed the answer. Your heart is pure, and your wish will be granted." Leora touched the moonflower with her wand, and the flower's petals shimmered with a brilliant light. The light spread across the forest, and the moonlit glow seemed to touch every corner of the village. Lila felt a sense of warmth and hope. When Lila returned to the village, she found that the drought had ended. The fields were lush and green, and the rivers flowed with clear, refreshing water. The villagers rejoiced, amazed by the transformation. Lila was hailed as a hero, but she remained humble. She knew that the magic of the moonflower had worked because of the collective hope and love of the village. She continued to help others and cherish the beauty of the world around her. And so, under the light of the full moon, Lila and her village lived happily ever after. The moonflower's magic remained a cherished legend, a reminder of the power of kindness and bravery. The end. Once upon a time, on a rugged coast where the sea met the land with a mighty roar, there stood a lighthouse unlike any other. This lighthouse was known as the Enchanted Lighthouse, and it was said to have magical powers that could guide lost sailors safely to shore and grant one true wish to anyone who proved themselves worthy. In a quaint village nearby, there lived a young girl named Clara. Clara had a heart full of dreams and a spirit of adventure. She loved to listen to the tales of the Enchanted Lighthouse and often wondered about the magical wish it was said to grant. Her father was a fisherman, and their family struggled to make ends meet. Clara's greatest wish was to bring prosperity and joy to her family and village. One stormy night, a fierce tempest struck the coast. The winds howled, and the waves crashed violently against the shore. Clara's father and other fishermen were out at sea, battling the storm to return home. The lighthouse, usually a beacon of hope, seemed to be shrouded in darkness as the storm raged on. Determined to save her father and the other fishermen, Clara decided she would visit the Enchanted Lighthouse and seek its magic to guide the sailors safely back. With a brave heart and a lantern in hand, she set out into the stormy night. The journey to the lighthouse. As Clara approached the lighthouse, the storm seemed to grow fiercer. Lightning flashed, illuminating the towering structure, and the wind howled with a voice of its own. Despite the harsh weather, Clara pressed on, her determination unwavering. When she reached the lighthouse, she found the door locked and covered in magical symbols. Clara took a deep breath and touched the symbols, trying to remember the tales she had heard about the lighthouse's magic. The stories spoke of a challenge that needed to be met with courage and a pure heart. A soft, ethereal voice echoed from the lighthouse. To enter, you must solve the riddle of the storm. Only then will the magic be revealed. The voice spoke a riddle that seemed to blend with the howling wind. I am not alive, but I grow. I don't have lungs, but I need air. I don't have a mouth, but I need water to live. What am I? Clara thought deeply as the storm continued its fury. Her mind raced through the riddles she had heard in her childhood. Finally, she realized the answer. A cloud, she called out. The lighthouse door creaked open, and Clara stepped inside. The interior was warm and glowing, filled with shimmering lights that danced like stars. Inside the inside of the lighthouse was filled with magical objects and glowing orbs. In the center stood a grand, ancient book that seemed to radiate a soft light. Clara approached the book, which opened on its own, revealing a page with a simple request: make your wish. Clara looked at the book and closed her eyes. She thought of her family, the struggling villagers, and the storm that threatened their lives. I wish for the storm to end, for the safety of my father and the fishermen, and for prosperity to return to our village, she whispered. As she spoke her wish, a brilliant light filled the lighthouse, and the storm outside began to calm. The rain softened, the wind eased, and the dark clouds began to clear. The lighthouse's beam shone brightly, cutting through the storm and guiding the fishermen safely back to shore. When Clara returned to the village, she found the storm had passed, and the villagers were celebrating the safe return of the fishermen. Her father, tired but safe, embraced Clara with relief and pride. The village was alive with joy, and the once ravaged land began to show signs of new growth. Clara's wish had not only saved the fishermen but had also brought a bountiful harvest to the village. The crops thrived, the fish were plentiful, and the village's fortunes turned around. Clara's bravery and selflessness had made a profound difference. A new legend, the tale of Clara's bravery, spread throughout the land. The enchanted lighthouse became a symbol of hope and courage, and its story was told to inspire others. The villagers thrived, and Clara grew up to be a wise and beloved leader, always remembered for her unwavering heart and her act of true selflessness. The lighthouse continued to stand tall, its light shining brightly over the coast, a beacon for lost souls and a reminder of the magic that lives within the heart of those who dare to dream and act with courage. And so, the village lived in peace and prosperity, guided by the light of the enchanted lighthouse and the legacy of Clara's brave heart. The end. Once upon a time, in the peaceful village of Lumina, nestled between rolling hills and lush forests, there was a tale of an enchanted lantern. This lantern, said to be imbued with magical light, was rumored to grant a single wish to anyone who found it. The lantern had been lost for many years, and the villagers had long forgotten its whereabouts. In Lumina, there lived a young boy named Finn. Finn was known for his adventurous spirit and his kind heart. He loved exploring the forests, helping his neighbors, and dreaming of grand quests. His parents, though modest, had always encouraged his curiosity and compassion. One winter evening, as the first snowflakes of the season began to fall, Finn's grandmother fell ill with a mysterious illness that no healer could cure. The village doctor did his best, but nothing seemed to help. Desperate to save his beloved grandmother, Finn remembered the story of the enchanted lantern. He decided to set out on a quest to find it, hoping its magic could bring her back to health. With a small backpack filled with supplies, a warm scarf, and a map of the old forest that he had found in his grandmother's attic, Finn ventured into the woods. The forest was beautiful in winter, with snow-covered branches and a serene silence. As Finn walked, he followed the clues from the map, which led him deeper into the heart of the forest. After a few hours of walking, Finn arrived at a clearing where a beautiful, ancient oak tree stood. The tree was adorned with shimmering icicles and glowing lanterns hanging from its branches. At the base of the tree was a small, wooden door, almost hidden by snow. With a deep breath, Finn opened the door and found himself in a cozy, dimly lit room. The room was filled with old, dusty books and glowing crystals. In the center of the room stood a wise old fox named Alara, who had been waiting for him. "Welcome, young seeker," Alara said with a gentle voice. "I am the guardian of the enchanted lantern. To prove your worthiness, you must first complete 3 tasks that test your courage, wisdom, and kindness. Finn nodded eagerly, ready to face the challenges ahead. Ilara explained the first task, the trial of courage. Finn had to cross the frozen lake, which was said to be haunted by an ancient spirit. The spirit was known to scare away intruders with illusions and cold winds. Finn approached the lake, where a thick mist hovered over the surface. As he stepped onto the ice, he felt a chill and heard eerie whispers. The mist formed shadowy figures that seemed to reach out for him. Finn, however, focused on his goal and kept moving forward with determination. He remembered his grandmother's encouraging words in his own courage, and with each step, the shadows and mist began to dissipate. When he reached the other side of the lake, he found a small, glowing crystal embedded in the ice. He picked it up, and the spirit of the lake appeared, a shimmering figure of light. "You have shown true courage," the spirit said. "The path is now open." Ilara then led Finn to the second task, the trial of wisdom. Finn had to solve a riddle that was inscribed on an ancient stone tablet. The riddle was, "I can be cracked, made, told, and played. What am I?" Finn thought carefully and remembered the stories and puzzles he had learned as a child. After a moment, he answered, "A joke." The stone tablet glowed brightly, and a secret door opened, revealing a path to the final trial. The third task was the trial of kindness. Finn found himself in a garden where a beautiful but tired flower was wilting. The flower's petals were drooping, and it seemed to be struggling to survive. Finn gently watered the flower and sang a soothing lullaby. As he cared for it with love and patience, the flower began to revive, its petals brightening and its fragrance filling the air. The garden bloomed with renewed life, and a gentle breeze carried a message from the flower: "You have demonstrated true kindness." With all 3 tasks completed, Ilara led Finn to a hidden chamber where the enchanted lantern was kept. The lantern was radiant, its light casting a warm glow across the room. Ilara handed it to Finn and said, "Your heart is pure, and you have earned the right to make your wish." Finn held the lantern close and thought about his grandmother. He made his wish, asking for her health to be restored and for happiness to return to his village. The lantern's light grew brighter, and a magical aura spread through the forest. When Finn returned to Lumina, he found that his grandmother had recovered and the village was thriving. The enchanted lantern's magic had not only healed his grandmother but also brought joy and prosperity to all. Finn's bravery, wisdom, and kindness were celebrated by everyone, and the tale of the enchanted lantern became a cherished story in Lumina. The lantern was placed in the village square, serving as a symbol of hope and the magic that resides in a kind and courageous heart. And so, Finn continued his life with the same adventurous spirit and compassion that had guided him on his quest, knowing that the true magic of the lantern was the power of love and selflessness. The end. Once upon a time, in a village surrounded by vast emerald fields and rolling hills, there was a willow tree unlike any other. Known as the Whispering Willow, it stood at the heart of the village and was said to possess magical powers. The villagers believed that the tree could grant wishes, but only to those whose hearts were pure and selfless. In this village lived a young girl named Lily. She was known for her kind heart and unyielding curiosity. Lily lived with her grandmother, who would often tell her stories of the Whispering Willow and the many wishes it had granted. These stories filled Lily with wonder and a desire to visit the tree herself. One day, as Lily was tending to her chores, she noticed a commotion in the village square. A group of villagers had gathered, whispering anxiously. She hurried over to see what was happening and discovered that the village's well had dried up. Without water, the crops would wither, and the villagers would face a harsh winter. Determined to help, Lily decided to visit the Whispering Willow. That evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon and the stars began to twinkle, Lily made her way to the tree. She knelt beside its gnarled roots and whispered her wish. "Dear Whispering Willow, please bring water back to our village so that we may survive the coming winter," she pleaded, her voice soft but earnest. A gentle breeze rustled the willow's leaves, and Lily felt a strange warmth envelop her. The tree's branches swayed as if acknowledging her request. She stayed there for a while, feeling a deep connection to the ancient tree, before heading home with a hopeful heart. The next morning, Lily woke to the sound of joyous shouts. She rushed outside and saw the villagers gathered around the well. Water was flowing freely once more. The villagers were overjoyed, thanking the Whispering Willow for its miraculous gift. Lily's heart swelled with happiness, knowing that her wish had been granted. Days turned into weeks, and the village flourished. The fields were green, the crops grew tall, and the villagers worked together to prepare for winter. Despite their newfound prosperity, Lily felt that her work was not yet done. She knew that true happiness came not just from physical well-being but also from the bonds between people. She began organizing gatherings under the Whispering Willow, where villagers could share stories, sing psalms, and celebrate their community. These gatherings brought the villagers closer together, fostering a sense of unity and cooperation. One evening, during one such gathering, an old woman approached Lily. Her eyes sparkled with wisdom, and she spoke with a voice that seemed to echo with the whispers of the willow's leaves. "You have done well, young one," the old woman said. "The Whispering Willow's magic is not just in granting wishes but in bringing out the best in people. Your selfless heart and dedication to your village have made a true difference." Lily smiled, understanding that the magic of the Whispering Willow was intertwined with the goodness in people's hearts. The tree had granted her wish, but it was her own actions and the unity of the villagers that had truly transformed their lives. The story of Lily and the Whispering Willow spread far and wide, becoming a cherished legend. The tree continued to stand at the heart of the village, a symbol of hope and community. Villagers and travelers alike would visit, not just to make wishes, but to remember the power of kindness and togetherness. And so, the village thrived, its people living in harmony, guided by the gentle whispers of the willow tree in the legacy of a young girl's pure heart. They knew that as long as they remained united and kind, the magic of the Whispering Willow would always be with them. And they all lived happily ever after. Once upon a time, in a kingdom where the skies were painted with stars and the moonlight danced across silver lakes, there was a hidden valley known as Etheria. This valley was blessed with a wondrous feature, a bridge made entirely of stardust. Each night, the bridge shimmered with 1,000 colors, connecting the realm of the ordinary with the land of dreams. In a quaint village at the edge of Etheria, lived a curious young girl named Leora. Leora loved gazing at the stars and often wondered what lay beyond the starry bridge. The villagers spoke of magical beings and enchanted lands, but no one had ever ventured across the bridge and returned to tell the tale. One evening, as the sky turned a deep indigo and the first stars began to twinkle, Leora decided it was time to uncover the secrets of the bridge. She packed a small bag with essentials, a lantern, a notebook, and a piece of honey cake her grandmother had baked. With a heart full of excitement and a touch of trepidation, she set off towards the glittering bridge. As Leora stepped onto the bridge, she felt a tingling sensation beneath her feet. The stardust was warm and soft, like stepping onto a cloud. The bridge sparkled with every step she took, and she marveled at how it seemed to pulse with the rhythm of the night. The journey across the bridge was enchanting. The stardust beneath her shimmered in hues of violet and gold, and the air was filled with the soft melodies of celestial music. As Leora approached the end of the bridge, she noticed a magnificent castle floating in the air, surrounded by clouds that sparkled like diamonds. This was the realm of dreams, a place where imagination and reality danced together. Upon reaching the castle, Leora was greeted by a graceful fairy named Lyra. Lyra had wings that glowed like moonlight and a crown of twinkling stars. "Welcome to the dream realm," Lyra said with a warm smile. "I am Lyra, and I've been expecting you." Leora was taken aback. "You were expecting me?" Lyra nodded. "Yes, the stars have whispered of your arrival. We need your help, Leora. Our dream realm is in trouble. The Dream Stone, which powers our world and keeps dreams alive, has been stolen by the Shadow of Woe." Leora's eyes widened. "The Shadow of Woe? What can I do to help?" Lyra's expression was serious but hopeful. "The Shadow of Woe resides in the gloomy cavern, deep within the forest of forgotten dreams. To retrieve the Dream Stone, you must face 3 challenges that test your courage, wisdom, and kindness. Without hesitation, Leora agreed to help. Lyra gave her a magical compass that would guide her through the forest and offered a piece of moonlight to light her path. With a determined heart, Leora set off on her quest. The Forest of Forgotten Dreams was a maze of twisted trees and misty pathways. The first challenge awaited her, a giant, sleeping dragon guarding a shimmering key. Leora had to solve a riddle to awaken the dragon without frightening it. The riddle was, what can you hold in your left hand but not in your right? Leora thought for a moment and answered, your right hand. The dragon, pleased with her answer, gave her the key and wished her well. The second challenge was a puzzle made of floating, glowing stones that formed a bridge over a chasm. Leora had to arrange the stones in the correct pattern to cross safely. With patience and careful observation, she figured out the pattern and made it across. The final challenge was the most daunting, a test of kindness. The shadow of woe had transformed the forest creatures into gloomy, despairing beings. Leora had to lift their spirits by sharing stories of hope and joy. As she spoke of her village and the wonders of the starry bridge, the creatures began to smile and regain their light. Even the shadow of woe felt a change in its heart. When Leora reached the gloomy cavern, she found the dream stone hidden in a dark, cold corner. As she reached for it, the shadow of woe appeared, its form flickering with sadness and anger. Leora took a deep breath and spoke kindly to the shadow. I know you're not truly wicked. You've been lonely and forgotten. Let us help you find joy again. The shadow of woe's dark form began to soften. With Leora's encouragement, the shadow transformed back into a gentle spirit. It revealed that it had stolen the dream stone out of desperation, hoping to be remembered. Leora offered her friendship and promised that it would always have a place in the dream realm. With the dream stone in hand, Leora returned to the castle. The dream stone was restored to its rightful place, and the dream realm once again shimmered with vibrant colors and joyful dreams. Lyra and the other inhabitants of the realm celebrated Leora's bravery and kindness. As a token of their gratitude, Lyra granted Leora a special gift, a small vial of stardust that would allow her to visit the dream realm whenever she wished. Leora thanked Lyra and the inhabitants of the dream realm before making her way back across the starry bridge. When she returned to her village, Leora shared her adventure with the villagers, inspiring them with stories of the dream realm and the magic of the starry bridge. And each night, as she gazed up at the stars, she knew that the bridge was not just a path between worlds but a symbol of the magic that lies in the courage and kindness of a single heart. Once upon a time, in a serene and picturesque kingdom called Verdantia, there flowed a beautiful, shimmering stream known as the Silver Stream. This stream was said to have a magical song that could bring peace and prosperity to anyone who listened to it. The people of Verdantia believed that the stream's melody was a gift from the fairies who lived in the enchanted grove at the heart of the forest. In the village of Meadowbrook, nestled along the banks of the Silver Stream, lived a young girl named Lila. Lila was known for her love of music and her kind heart. She spent her days helping her neighbors and often visited the stream to listen to its enchanting song. Despite its beauty, Lila felt that the stream's melody was fading, and she worried that the magic of the Silver Stream might be disappearing. One day, as the sun dipped below the horizon, Lila decided to embark on a journey to the enchanted grove to seek the fairies' help. She believed that if she could find the source of the stream's song, she might be able to restore its magic. She packed a small satchel with food, a warm cloak, and her favorite flute, which had been a gift from her grandmother. As Lila entered the forest, she followed a narrow path lined with twinkling fireflies. The air was filled with the scent of pine and wildflowers, and the sounds of the forest were soothing. The path led her deeper into the woods until she reached a magnificent archway covered in luminous vines. Beyond the archway lay the enchanted grove. The grove was a breathtaking sight. Trees with silver leaves stood tall, and flowers that glowed softly in the moonlight carpeted the ground. In the center of the grove was a grand, ancient tree with a trunk that seemed to shimmer like stardust. Around the tree danced delicate fairies, their wings sparkling with every color of the rainbow. Lila approached the fairies with a mixture of awe and determination. The fairies, noticing her arrival, gathered around her. The queen of the fairies, a graceful figure with wings like spun glass, floated down and greeted Lila. "Welcome, brave one. I am Queen Seraphina. What brings you to our sacred grove?" Lila explained her concern about the fading song of the silver stream and her wish to restore its magic. Queen Seraphina listened carefully and then nodded. "To restore the magic, you must find the Crystal of Harmony, which lies hidden deep within the heart of the forest. It is said that only someone with a pure heart and a true love for music can retrieve it." With the queen's blessing, Lila set out on her quest. The heart of the forest was a mysterious and magical place, and the journey was filled with challenges. She followed a trail of sparkling stardust that led her through enchanted meadows and over babbling brooks. Along the way, she encountered magical creatures, a wise old owl, a playful squirrel, and a gentle fawn, each of whom gave her a piece of advice or a token to aid her on her journey. After a long and arduous journey, Lila arrived at a hidden cave illuminated by the soft glow of bioluminescent crystals. Inside the cave, she found the Crystal of Harmony resting on a pedestal of glowing roots. The crystal radiated a soothing light and emitted a melody that resonated with the music of the silver stream. As Lila reached out to take the crystal, she felt a surge of energy and warmth. The cave began to fill with a harmonious symphony that seemed to echo through every corner of the forest. Lila carefully took the crystal and made her way back to the enchanted grove. Upon her return, the fairies greeted her with joy. Queen Seraphina took the Crystal of Harmony and placed it on a pedestal beneath the grand tree. The moment the crystal touched the pedestal, a brilliant light enveloped the grove, and the magic of the enchanted grove seemed to flow into the silver stream. The next day, as dawn broke over Meadowbrook, the villagers awoke to find that the silver stream was more vibrant and melodious than ever before. The stream's song was now filled with a rich, harmonious tune that brought a sense of peace and joy to all who heard it. Lila's bravery and dedication were celebrated by the entire village. The story of her quest became a cherished legend in Verdantia, and the silver stream continued to sing its magical song, ensuring that the kingdom remained a place of harmony and prosperity. And so, with the magic of the silver stream restored and the music of the enchanted grove forever in their hearts, the people of Verdantia lived happily ever after, always remembering the song that had brought them together. Once upon a time, in a cozy little village nestled between rolling hills, there lived a curious kitten named Kiki. Kiki had bright green eyes, soft gray fur, and an insatiable curiosity about the world around her. While the other kittens in the village were content to play with yarn and chase butterflies, Kiki always dreamed of discovering new and exciting places. One sunny morning, as Kiki was exploring the outskirts of the village, she stumbled upon an old, forgotten path overgrown with ivy and wildflowers. Her whiskers twitched with excitement as she sniffed the air. She had never seen this path before, and her adventurous spirit urged her to follow it. Kiki trotted down the path, her paws making soft sounds on the moss-covered ground. The further she went, the more magical the surroundings became. Birds with bright plumage sang sweet melodies, and butterflies of every color danced around her. After a while, Kiki reached a tall, ancient wooden gate covered in vines. With a gentle push of her paw, the gate creaked open, revealing a hidden garden. It was the most beautiful place Kiki had ever seen. The garden was filled with vibrant flowers, tall trees with golden leaves, and a sparkling stream that wound its way through the center. At the heart of the garden stood a magnificent fountain, its water glistening in the sunlight. As Kiki explored the garden, she noticed something unusual about the fountain. At its base was an intricate mosaic depicting a story. It showed a young girl and a kitten, just like Kiki, discovering the garden and embarking on a grand adventure. Curiosity piqued, Kiki examined the mosaic closely and found a hidden compartment. Inside was a small, ornate key. "I wonder what this opens," Kiki thought, her green eyes sparkling with anticipation. Just then, a soft voice called out, "Hello, little kitten. What brings you to our magical garden?" Kiki turned to see a graceful, shimmering fairy with delicate wings fluttering nearby. The fairy introduced herself as Lila, the guardian of the hidden garden. "Hello, Lila. Kiki replied. I found this key near the fountain. Do you know what it opens? Lila smiled kindly. That key unlocks the door to the enchanted glade, a place filled with wonders and secrets. But the journey to the glade is not easy. You must be brave and kind-hearted to reach it. Kiki felt a mix of excitement and determination. I'm ready for the adventure, she said confidently. Lila nodded and pointed to a small, hidden door at the edge of the garden. Kiki approached the door, inserted the key, and with a soft click, it opened. Beyond the door lay a path lined with glowing flowers and twinkling lights. As Kiki ventured down the path, she encountered various magical creatures. She helped a family of fireflies find their lost child, guided a confused hedgehog back to his home, and shared her food with a hungry rabbit. With each act of kindness, the path grew brighter, and Kiki felt more confident. Finally, after what seemed like a long journey, Kiki reached the enchanted glade. It was a breathtaking sight. The glade was filled with the soft glow of bioluminescent plants, and the air was filled with the sweet scent of jasmine. In the center of the glade was a large, ancient tree with golden bark and silver leaves. At the base of the tree was a small door, much like the one in the garden. Kiki used the key one last time, and the door opened to reveal a hidden chamber filled with treasures, shimmering crystals, golden trinkets, and a book bound in velvet. Kiki carefully opened the book, and to her surprise, it told the story of her journey, the friends she had helped and the challenges she had overcome. At the end of the story, it read, "The greatest treasure of all is the kindness and courage you have shown." Just then, Lila appeared beside her. "You have done well, Kiki," she said softly. "This glade and its treasures are a reward for your bravery and kindness. You are always welcome here." Kiki's heart swelled with pride and happiness. She thanked Lila and promised to return. With the key in her paw, she made her way back to the hidden garden and through the old gate, returning to the village. The other kittens greeted her with wide eyes and eager questions about her adventure. Kiki shared her story, and from that day on, she was known as the bravest and kindest kitten in the village. Kiki continued to explore, always ready for the next adventure, and she never forgot the magical garden and the enchanted glade. She kept the key close, a reminder of the incredible journey and the friends she had made along the way. And so, Kiki the curious kitten lived happily, with a heart full of kindness and a spirit always eager for the next adventure. The end. Once upon a time, in a land where the night sky was filled with more stars than grains of sand on a beach, there was a small village called Glimmerwood. The village was named after the magical forest that surrounded it, where the trees sparkled like silver in the moonlight, and the streams shimmered with the glow of the stars reflected on their surfaces. In this village lived a young girl named Mira, who was known for her curious nature and her love of the stars. Every night, Mira would sit by her window and gaze up at the sky, watching the stars twinkle and dance. She would often dream of catching a star and keeping it close to her heart, imagining the warmth and light it would bring. One evening, as Mira was sitting by her window, she noticed something strange. One of the stars in the sky was shining brighter than all the others, and it seemed to be getting closer. As she watched in awe, the star descended from the heavens, landing gently in the Glimmerwood forest. Its light was so bright that it lit up the entire forest, turning night into day. Mira knew she had to find the fallen star. She quickly put on her cloak, grabbed a small lantern, and ventured into the forest. The trees glowed softly as she made her way through, guiding her steps toward the star's resting place. After walking for what felt like hours, Mira finally reached a clearing. In the center of the clearing, surrounded by the soft glow of the trees, was the star. It was smaller than she had imagined, about the size of her hand, but it shone with a light so pure and warm that it filled her heart with joy. As Mira approached the star, she heard a soft, melodic voice. "Who is it that seeks the light of the stars?" Startled, Mira looked around and saw a figure emerge from the shadows of the trees. It was an old woman, her hair silver as the moon, and her eyes twinkling like the stars themselves. She was the Starcatcher, a wise and ancient being who watched over the stars and protected them from harm. "I'm Mira," the girl said, bowing her head respectfully. "I saw the star fall from the sky, and I came to find it. I've always dreamed of holding a star in my hands." The starcatcher smiled kindly. "You have a brave heart, Mira, and a pure spirit. Not many would venture into the forest at night to seek out a fallen star. But stars are not meant to be kept, they belong in the sky, where they can light the way for all." Mira's heart sank a little. She had hoped to keep the star, to hold its light close and cherish it forever. But she understood the starcatcher's words. "I see," she said softly. "But why did the star fall from the sky in the first place?" The starcatcher's expression grew serious. "This star, like all stars, has a purpose. It is a guide for those who are lost, a beacon of hope in the darkest of nights. But sometimes, stars lose their way too, and they need help to find their place in the sky again. This star fell because it was searching for something, a place where it could shine the brightest." Mira looked at the star, feeling a connection to it. "Then I will help it find its way back. I'll do whatever it takes to make sure it shines again." The starcatcher nodded approvingly. "You have a good heart, Mira. To return the star to the sky, you must take it to the highest peak of the Moonlight Mountain. There, you will find a crystal pool that reflects the night sky. If you place the star in the pool, it will be able to find its way home." Mira agreed without hesitation. She gently picked up the star, feeling its warmth spread through her hands, and set off on her journey to Moonlight Mountain. The path was long and steep, but Mira was determined. She climbed higher and higher, the star lighting her way through the darkness. As she climbed, the star began to glow brighter, as if it knew it was getting closer to its destination. But the journey was not without its challenges. The wind grew colder, and the path became narrower, with sharp rocks and steep cliffs on either side. But Mira held the star close, its light giving her the strength to keep going. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, Mira reached the peak of Moonlight Mountain. There, as the starcatcher had said, was a crystal-clear pool, reflecting the stars above. The sight was breathtaking, and for a moment, Mira simply stood in awe of the beauty around her. Gently, she knelt by the pool and held the star over the water. "It's time for you to go home," she whispered, feeling a bittersweet twinge in her heart. She slowly lowered the star into the pool, watching as its light merged with the reflection of the stars in the sky. As soon as the star touched the water, the entire pool began to glow, and the star rose from the surface, ascending back into the sky. Mira watched as it soared higher and higher, until it found its place among the other stars, shining even more brightly than before. The starcatcher appeared beside Mira, her eyes filled with pride. "You have done a great thing, Mira. The star has found its place, and it will guide those who are lost, just as you have guided it. Remember, true light shines brightest when it is shared." Mira smiled, her heart filled with warmth and happiness. She had dreamed of holding a star, and though she had to let it go, she knew she had helped it fulfill its purpose. As she made her way back down the mountain, the stars in the sky seemed to shine a little brighter, as if thanking her for her kindness. When she returned to Glimmerwood, the villagers noticed the change in the night sky. The stars seemed more vibrant, more alive, and they wondered what had caused such a change. But Mira kept her adventure a secret, knowing that the star was exactly where it needed to be. From that night on, whenever Mira looked up at the sky, she would find the star she had helped and smile, knowing that she had played a part in its journey. And in her heart, she carried the light of that star, a reminder that sometimes, the greatest treasures are the ones we help others find. The end. Once upon a time, in the tranquil kingdom of Celestia, there was a magical forest known as the Enchanted Grove. This forest was renowned for its shimmering flowers and whispering trees. At the heart of the forest stood the Moonstone Tree, a majestic tree with glowing silver leaves that were said to grant a single wish under the light of a full moon. In the village of Starbrook, a young girl named Ilara lived with her grandmother. Ilara was known for her curiosity and kindness. She often visited the Enchanted Grove to listen to the stories of the whispering trees and help the woodland creatures. Her favorite companion was a mischievous but loyal squirrel named Nutty. One evening, as the full moon began to rise, Elara and Nutty set out to visit the moonstone tree. The sky was clear, and the moonlight danced across the forest floor. They arrived at the moonstone tree and noticed something unusual. The tree's glow was dim, and its silver leaves seemed to be losing their luster. Elara found a scroll tied to one of the branches. The scroll read, "To restore the moonstone tree's magic, you must complete 3 tasks. Only those with true hearts will succeed." Determined to help, Elara and Nutty prepared for the first task, the trial of the whispering winds. They followed a path that led to a clearing where the winds carried soft, melodic whispers. Elara needed to decipher the whispers to find the right path to the next task. Nutty's sharp ears helped him catch the faint whispers that Elara couldn't quite hear. By listening carefully and following the gentle breeze, they discovered a hidden path leading to a grove with an ancient oak tree. The oak tree, though wise, was saddened and in need of a friend. Elara comforted the oak tree and offered to listen to its stories. The oak shared tales of old, and Elara's kind words and attention lifted its spirits. In return, the oak revealed the way to the next task. The second task was the trial of the shimmering pool. They arrived at a sparkling pool surrounded by iridescent stones. In the center of the pool was a glowing orb that needed to be retrieved. The pool's surface was calm, but Elara had to figure out how to reach the orb without disturbing the delicate balance of the water. Nutty used his nimble paws to carefully place the stones around the pool, creating a stable path. Elara carefully walked across the stones and retrieved the orb. As she held it up, the pool's surface shimmered with a radiant light, signaling the completion of the second task. The final task was the trial of the heart's light. They reached a grove where a group of tiny, glowing fireflies danced around a withered flower. The flower, once vibrant, had lost its light and needed to be revived. Elara and Nutty gathered the fireflies and used their soft light to nurture the flower. Elara spoke gently to the flower, sharing her hopes and dreams. As her words of kindness and encouragement filled the air, the flower began to bloom once more, its petals glowing brightly. With the 3 tasks complete, the moonstone tree's glow was restored. Its silver leaves sparkled under the full moon, casting a warm light across the forest. The tree's magic was rejuvenated, and the enchanted grove once again thrived with vibrant energy. Elara made her wish with the moonstone tree. "I wish for the forest and its creatures to always be safe and happy." The moonstone tree's magic enveloped the enchanted grove, ensuring that it remained a place of wonder and harmony. The creatures of the forest rejoiced, and Elara and Nutty were celebrated as heroes. The villagers of Starbrook heard of Elara's adventure and praised her bravery and kindness. The story of Elara and the moonstone tree became a cherished legend, a reminder of the power of love and courage. And so, the enchanted grove continued to shine under the moonlight, a symbol of the magic that lives in every heart. The end. Once upon a time, in a realm where the sky was always a deep, serene blue and the rolling hills were dotted with wildflowers, there was a charming village called Everbrook. The village was nestled beside a great, ancient forest known as the Whispering Woods, a place where the trees were said to hold secrets and enchantments. In Everbrook, there lived a young girl named Mira. Mira had a gift that set her apart from others. She could speak to the forest animals. This gift was passed down through generations in her family, and Mira cherished it deeply, using it to help her neighbors and protect the forest. One day, as Mira strolled through the forest, she noticed something unusual. A large, dark cloud hovered over a section of the Whispering Woods. This was strange, as the sky was clear and blue everywhere else. Mira approached the area, her curiosity piqued. As she ventured deeper, Mira found a small, hidden glade where the trees were wilting and the flowers drooping. In the center of the glade stood a magnificent, ancient tree, its bark etched with glowing runes. The tree, known as the Elder Tree, was the heart of the Whispering Woods and the source of its magic. "Oh no," Mira murmured, "the Elder Tree is in trouble." Suddenly, a soft, melancholic voice echoed through the glade. It was the Elder Tree, speaking to Mira. Brave Mira, the balance of the Whispering Woods is in jeopardy. A dark sorcerer named Meliner has stolen the heart of the forest, a crystal that sustains our magic. Without it, the woods will wither and fade. Mira's heart sank. How can I help? The Elder Tree's runes flickered as it continued. The heart of the forest is hidden in the Tower of Shadows, located at the farthest edge of the woods. To reach it, you must first pass through 3 trials that test your courage, wisdom, and kindness. Determined, Mira set off towards the Tower of Shadows. The forest seemed darker as she approached, the air thick with tension. The first trial was a labyrinth of thorny brambles that twisted and turned in confusing patterns. Mira used her gift to call upon the forest creatures for help. A wise old owl guided her with its hoots, and a brave squirrel led her through the safest path. With their assistance, Mira navigated the labyrinth and emerged on the other side. The second trial was a raging river with waters that surged and crashed violently. Mira needed to cross, but the only bridge was a flimsy vine that swayed dangerously. As she stood at the edge, she heard the soft chirps of a family of river birds. They offered to help, and with their guidance, Mira used fallen branches and sturdy vines to create a more stable crossing. She carefully made her way across, reaching the far shore safely. The final trial awaited Mira at the Tower of Shadows, a looming structure covered in dark ivy and surrounded by swirling mist. As Mira entered, the darkness seemed to press in on her. She was met by Meliner, the dark sorcerer, who sneered at her arrival. "You think you can take the heart of the forest from me?" Meliner's voice echoed with malice. "You are just a child." Mira took a deep breath and stepped forward. "I am not just a child. I am a guardian of the forest, and I will restore the balance." Meliner laughed, but Mira's resolve did not waver. The sorcerer challenged her to a final test of strength and will. He conjured illusions of her greatest fears, darkness, loss, and loneliness. But Mira remembered the love and support she had received from the forest creatures and the village she cherished. She faced each fear with bravery and compassion, her heart shining with light. Seeing Mira's unwavering spirit, Meliner's own heart began to waver. The darkness that had enveloped him started to recede, and the heart of the forest, glowing with a soft, golden light, was revealed. Realizing the error of his ways, Meliner surrendered the heart and fled, leaving Mira victorious. With the heart of the forest safely in her hands, Mira made her way back to the Elder Tree. As she returned the crystal to its rightful place, the magic of the Whispering Woods was restored. And the forest came alive with vibrant colors and joyous sounds. The villagers of Everbrook celebrated Mira's bravery and kindness. The forest flourished, and the bond between the village and the Whispering Woods grew stronger than ever. And so, the Whispering Woods remained a place of enchantment and wonder, protected by the courage and compassion of a young girl named Mira. And they all lived happily ever after. Once upon a time, in a quaint village nestled between rolling hills and a shimmering river, there lived a young boy named Finn. Finn was known for his adventurous spirit and his fascination with the mysteries of the world. He spent his days exploring the nearby woods, climbing trees, and dreaming of far-off lands. One day, while rummaging through the attic of his family's old cottage, Finn stumbled upon a dusty wooden box. Inside the box was an ornate compass with a gleaming, jewel-encrusted face. The compass was unlike anything Finn had ever seen, with intricate designs etched into its brass casing. At the center of the compass, where the needle usually pointed north, was a small, glowing emerald. Finn was captivated by the compass and decided to take it with him on his next adventure. He slipped it into his pocket and set off into the woods, eager to discover what secrets the compass might hold. As Finn wandered deeper into the forest, he noticed something extraordinary. The compass needle, instead of pointing north, began to sway and glow softly, guiding him toward a hidden path he had never noticed before. With excitement bubbling in his chest, Finn followed the compass's guidance. The path led Finn to a hidden glen, bathed in golden sunlight. At the center of the glen was a magnificent tree with silver leaves that shimmered like stars. Beneath the tree, a small, ancient stone archway stood, covered in moss and vines. The archway seemed to beckon Finn closer. Curious, Finn approached the archway and noticed that the compass needle was now spinning wildly. As he stepped through the archway, he was greeted by a breathtaking sight. He had entered a magical realm, where the sky was a brilliant shade of twilight purple, and the air was filled with the sweet scent of blooming flowers. In the heart of this enchanted realm was a grand castle made of sparkling crystal. The castle's towers reached toward the heavens, and its walls shimmered with every color of the rainbow. As Finn marveled at the castle, he noticed a figure approaching him, a kind-faced, elderly woman dressed in robes of deep blue and silver. The woman introduced herself as Queen Alara of the Enchanted Realm. She explained that the compass Finn had found was a magical artifact that could lead its bearer to the hidden realm when they were in need of great adventure or help. The realm was a place of wonder, but it was also in need of assistance. The kingdom's magic had begun to fade, and only a heart full of courage and kindness could restore it. Queen Alara revealed that the source of the kingdom's magic was the Heartstone, a powerful gem hidden within the castle. However, the Heartstone had been taken by a mischievous sprite named Puck, who had hidden it away in a maze of illusions and traps. Without the Heartstone, the kingdom's magic would continue to wane. Determined to help, Finn agreed to embark on the quest to retrieve the Heartstone. Queen Alara handed him a small, silver key and wished him luck. The key, she explained, would help him navigate the maze. Finn made his way to the entrance of the maze, where the key glowed brightly in his hand. As he ventured through the labyrinth, he encountered various challenges, bewildering illusions, hidden traps, and magical puzzles. Each challenge required him to use his wits, bravery, and kindness. At one point, Finn came across a small, trapped creature, a golden firefly caught in a web of enchanted vines. Remembering Queen Alara's advice about kindness, Finn carefully freed the firefly. In gratitude, the firefly revealed the way forward, guiding him through a particularly tricky section of the maze. After many trials, Finn finally reached the center of the maze, where Puck was playfully hiding the Heartstone. The sprite, seeing the determination and bravery in Finn's eyes, decided to test him one last time. Puck asked Finn a riddle: "What is the greatest treasure, yet the most humble, that you can give without losing anything?" Finn thought carefully and then answered, "The greatest treasure is love. It is given freely, and it enriches both the giver and the receiver." Puck was touched by Finn's answer and, with a mischievous grin, handed over the Heartstone. Finn thanked Puck and made his way back to the castle. With the Heartstone restored to its rightful place, the enchanted realm's magic was rejuvenated. The skies grew even more brilliant, and the flowers bloomed with renewed vigor. Queen Alara and the magical inhabitants of the realm celebrated Finn's bravery and kindness. As a token of their gratitude, Queen Alara gifted Finn a small, enchanted crystal that would allow him to visit the enchanted realm whenever he wished. Finn returned to his village, where he shared his incredible adventure with everyone, and the enchanted compass remained a cherished memento of his journey. And so, Finn's heart and the magical realm were forever intertwined, reminding him that courage, kindness, and love were the true keys to unlocking the wonders of the world. Once upon a time, in a kingdom surrounded by dense, ancient forests, there was a hidden realm known as the Forest of Whispers. This magical forest was known for its talking animals and enchanted creatures, but most of all, it was famous for its elusive, shimmering tree of wishes. The tree was said to grant one true wish to anyone who could find it and speak from their heart. In a small village on the edge of this forest lived a brave young boy named Finn. Finn had always dreamed of exploring the Forest of Whispers, but the village elders warned that it was a place of great magic and danger. Yet, Finn was determined to find the Tree of Wishes and help his village, which had been suffering from a long, harsh winter. One cold, snowy morning, Finn decided it was time to act. With a warm cloak and a satchel of supplies, he set out for the Forest of Whispers. As he entered the forest, he was greeted by a chorus of whispering leaves and a gentle breeze that seemed to guide him forward. The first creature he encountered was a wise old owl perched on a low branch. The owl's eyes twinkled with curiosity. To find the Tree of Wishes, the owl hooted, You must pass through 3 trials, each revealing something important about yourself. Finn nodded and prepared for the first trial. He followed the owl's directions and soon arrived at a glistening, crystal-clear lake. At the center of the lake was a small, shimmering island with a single, beautiful flower growing upon it. The challenge was to retrieve the flower without disturbing the serene waters. Finn noticed a family of swans swimming peacefully around the island. He realized that if he were careful and patient, he could use a small boat to reach the island. He crafted a simple raft from fallen branches and gently paddled across, taking care not to upset the swans. When he reached the island, he picked the flower with great care and returned to the shore, having successfully completed the first trial. The second trial was set in a clearing where a large stone gate stood, covered in ancient runes. To open the gate, Finn needed to solve a riddle carved into the stone. I am not alive, but I grow. I don't have lungs, but I need air. I don't have a mouth, but I need water to survive. What am I? Finn thought for a moment and answered, a fire. The stone gate creaked open, revealing a path that led deeper into the forest. Finn followed the path, guided by the whispers of the forest and the faint glow of the moonlight. The third and final trial took Finn to a misty glade where the air was thick with enchantment. In the center of the glade stood a large, ancient tree with gnarled branches and glowing eyes. It was the Tree of Wishes itself, but it was surrounded by a barrier of magical mist. To approach the tree, Finn had to confront his deepest fear. As he neared the mist, he felt a wave of doubt and uncertainty. The fear of failure and the burden of his village's troubles weighed heavily on him. Finn took a deep breath and spoke aloud, acknowledging his fear and his sincere wish to help his village. The mist began to clear, and the Tree of Wishes spoke in a gentle, melodic voice. You have faced your fears with bravery and honesty. Your heart is pure, and your wish is noble. Speak your true wish. Finn stepped forward and said, I wish for my village to have warmth and prosperity, so that the harsh winter will end and we may all thrive together. The Tree of Wishes shimmered with a brilliant light. A warm, golden glow spread from the tree, traveling through the forest and reaching the village. The snow began to melt, the rivers flowed once more, and the village was soon surrounded by lush, green fields. When Finn returned to his village, he was greeted with joy and celebration. The villagers marveled at the sudden transformation and thanked Finn for his bravery and selflessness. The village flourished with the new warmth and abundance, and Finn's adventure became a beloved story passed down through generations. The Forest of Whispers remained a place of wonder and magic, and the Tree of Wishes continued to grant its gifts to those who approached with pure hearts. And so, the kingdom thrived, and Finn's courage and kindness were remembered as a beacon of hope and unity. And they all lived happily ever after. Once upon a time, in the kingdom of Serenia, there was a grand castle perched atop a hill. The castle overlooked rolling meadows and serene lakes, but its most cherished treasure was the Moonstone, a gem said to have the power to bring peace and prosperity. The Moonstone was guarded by a mysterious and benevolent figure known as the Guardian of the Moonstone. The Guardian was an enigmatic woman named Seraphina who lived in a secluded tower within the castle. She had the gift of understanding the language of the stars and could communicate with the creatures of the night. Seraphina's role was to protect the Moonstone and ensure that its power was used only for the greater good. One fateful evening, dark clouds gathered over Serenia, and a menacing sorcerer named Malakar appeared. Malakar coveted the Moonstone's power and sought to use it to spread darkness across the land. He devised a cunning plan to steal the Moonstone and cast a spell to shroud Serenia in eternal night. Seraphina was aware of Malakar's intentions but was bound by the castle's protective enchantments, which prevented her from leaving. She knew she needed help, so she sent a magical message to the most courageous and kind-hearted soul she knew, a young shepherd named Elio. Elio lived in a small cottage at the edge of the kingdom. Though he was humble and lived a simple life, his bravery and kindness were well known. When he received Seraphina's message, he felt a deep sense of duty and set out for the castle immediately. Elio arrived at the castle and was greeted by Seraphina, who explained the situation and the danger that Malakar posed. She told him that to save the Moonstone and protect Serenia, he must retrieve a magical talisman hidden in the heart of the enchanted forest. This talisman was the only thing that could counteract Malakar's dark magic. The enchanted forest was known for its mystical creatures and magical trials. Serafina gave Elio a silver lantern that would guide him through the forest and reveal the path to the talisman. With the lantern in hand, Elio ventured into the forest, where he encountered a series of challenges. The first challenge was to cross the River of Reflections. The river's surface mirrored not just the physical appearance but also one's inner thoughts and fears. Elio saw his reflection clouded by self-doubt and fear. He took a deep breath and remembered his loved ones and his sense of purpose. By focusing on his courage and determination, he crossed the river without hesitation. Next, Elio reached the Whispering Grove, where the trees spoke in riddles. The trees told him that to find the talisman, he must solve a riddle. I am not alive, yet I grow. I don't have eyes, yet I need light. I am not a plant, yet I need water. What am I? Elio thought hard and answered, a crystal. The trees parted to reveal a hidden path leading deeper into the forest. At the end of the path was a majestic clearing where a silver chest rested upon a pedestal. Elio approached the chest, and as he did, a guardian spirit appeared, a magnificent stag with glowing antlers. The stag spoke with a voice like the rustling of leaves. To claim the talisman, you must prove your heart's true intent. Show that you seek to protect and serve, not to gain power. Elio stepped forward and spoke sincerely, I wish to protect my kingdom and ensure that the Moonstone's power is used for the good of all. The stag nodded in approval and allowed Elio to open the chest. Inside, he found the magical talisman, a shimmering orb that radiated warmth and light. Elio took the talisman and hurried back to the castle. Meanwhile, Malakar had managed to break through the castle's defenses and was closing in on the Moonstone. As he reached the chamber, the sky outside darkened, and a chill filled the air. Just as he was about to seize the Moonstone, Elio arrived with the talisman. Elio held up the talisman, and a brilliant light burst forth. The light enveloped Malakar and countered his dark magic, breaking his spell and dispelling the darkness. Malakar was forced to flee, his plans thwarted. With the danger averted, Serafina praised Elio for his bravery and selflessness. She explained that the Moonstone's power could now be restored, and peace would return to Serenia. The kingdom celebrated Elio as a hero, and the Moonstone was safeguarded once more. Serafina continued to guard the Moonstone with the wisdom and grace she had always shown, while Elio returned to his peaceful life as a shepherd. The tale of his courage and the adventure he undertook became a beloved story, inspiring many in Serenia. And so, the kingdom of Serenia flourished, protected by the moons. In the heart of a quaint village surrounded by rolling hills and dense forests, there was a small, charming shop known as the Clockwork Cottage. This shop, with its wooden sign and intricately carved door, belonged to an elderly clockmaker named Mr. Thorne. His clocks were renowned for their beauty and precision, but what truly set them apart was the enchanting magic that seemed to linger within their gears and springs. Mr. Thorne was a kind man with twinkling eyes and a gentle smile. Though he was known for his skill, he was also known for his mysterious habit of working late into the night, never allowing anyone to see his latest creations. The village folk often whispered that his clocks were not just timekeepers but held secrets of their own. One crisp autumn evening, a young girl named Lila, curious and adventurous, decided to visit the Clockwork Cottage. Lila was known for her inquisitive nature and had always been fascinated by Mr. Thorne's clocks. She had heard tales of their magic and wanted to uncover the truth. As she approached the shop, she noticed a soft, golden light emanating from within. The door creaked open as she touched the handle, and she stepped into the cozy interior, where the air was filled with the soothing tick-tock of countless clocks. The walls were lined with timepieces of all shapes and sizes, their faces adorned with delicate engravings. Mr. Thorne looked up from his workbench, where he was meticulously assembling a new clock. "Ah, Lila," he said with a warm smile. "What brings you to my shop this evening?" "I've always been curious about your clocks," Lila admitted. "I've heard they're magical." "Is it true?" Mr. Thorne chuckled softly. "Magic, you say? Perhaps there is a bit of truth in that. But magic, like time, is a delicate thing. It requires care and understanding. Intrigued, Lila asked, "Can you show me one of your magical creations?" Mr. Thorne's eyes sparkled with mischief. "Very well. But first, you must solve a small puzzle. If you do, I will show you something truly wondrous." He handed Lila an ornate pocket watch with intricate designs etched into its surface. "This is no ordinary watch. It holds a secret, but to unlock it, you must answer a riddle." Lila accepted the challenge eagerly. Mr. Thorne's riddle was, "I can fly without wings. I can cry without eyes. Wherever I go, darkness follows me. What am I?" Lila pondered the riddle, her brow furrowing in concentration. After a few moments, she smiled and answered, "A cloud." Mr. Thorne's eyes widened with approval. "You are correct. Now, let me show you the magic within." He opened the pocket watch, revealing a tiny, hidden compartment. Inside was a miniature, beautifully detailed scene of a moonlit meadow with dancing fireflies. The scene seemed to come alive with a gentle, enchanting glow. "This is the enchanted clock," Mr. Thorne explained. "It can grant a single wish to those who truly understand the value of time and magic. But be cautious, wishes made with this clock must be for the greater good." Lila gazed in awe at the miniature world within the watch. She thought carefully about her wish. Her heart was full of dreams, but she wanted to make sure her wish would help others as well. After a moment's thought, Lila said, "I wish for the village to always have a place of warmth and joy, where people can gather and share their stories." Mr. Thorne nodded approvingly and carefully closed the pocket watch. A selfless wish, indeed. He then placed the watch on a shelf and took out an old, ornate key. "Come with me," he said, leading Lila to a hidden door at the back of the shop. The key unlocked the door, revealing a secret room filled with clocks of every shape and size, each more beautiful and intricate than the last. In the center of the room was a grand clock with a golden face and celestial designs. "This is the heart of time," Mr. Thorne said. "It holds the magic of all the clocks I have ever created. Your wish will be fulfilled through its enchantment." As Lila watched, Mr. Thorne gently placed the enchanted clock on the grand clock's pedestal. The entire room filled with a soft, golden light, and the magic of the clocks began to weave together. The next morning, the village awoke to find a new addition to their community, a beautiful, cozy pavilion in the village square, adorned with twinkling lights and colorful banners. The pavilion became a beloved gathering place, where people could come together to share stories, celebrate, and find comfort. The village flourished under the influence of the pavilion's magic, and its warmth and joy became a cherished part of their lives. Lila's wish had brought a lasting gift to the community, and the Clockwork Cottage continued to be a place of wonder and enchantment. And so, the legend of the enchanted clock lived on, reminding everyone that true magic is found not in the wishes we make for ourselves but in the joy and love we bring to others. The Starlight Bridge. Once upon a time, in a land where the night sky was always ablaze with shimmering stars, there was a hidden village called Lumina. This village was known for its breathtaking beauty and the way the stars seemed to come down to touch the ground. The villagers lived in harmony with the magical starlight that illuminated their homes and fields. At the heart of Lumina stood a grand tower known as the Celestial Spire. From this tower, a magical bridge of starlight arched across the night sky, connecting the village to the constellation of the Silver Swan. Legend had it that the bridge was a gift from the stars themselves, meant to bring guidance and fortune to the village. The darkening sky. One evening, as the stars began to twinkle, a dark cloud spread across the sky. The once bright starlight grew dim, and the bridge began to fade. The villagers were troubled and gathered around the celestial spire, seeking answers. A young girl named Alara, known for her bravery and curiosity, stepped forward. "I will find out what's happened to the bridge and restore the starlight to our village." The village elder, a wise old man named Alaric, nodded approvingly. "You have the heart of a true hero, Alara. The bridge's light is tied to the balance of the cosmos. If it is fading, there may be a disturbance in the stars. A journey through the cosmos. With a determined heart, Elara began her journey. She climbed the celestial spire, where a shimmering portal awaited her. Stepping through, she found herself in a magical realm of constellations and glowing nebulas. She followed the starlight path leading to the constellation of the Silver Swan. Along the way, she encountered various celestial beings, including radiant star sprites and wise moonbeams, who guided her through the cosmic expanse. The Star of Shadows. As Elara approached the constellation, she found a shadowy figure hovering near the Silver Swan. It was a dark entity known as the Star of Shadows, a rogue force that thrived on darkness and chaos. The Star of Shadows spoke in a voice like swirling mist, "I have come to drain the light from the stars and plunge the world into eternal night. The Silver Swan's light will be mine." Elara, though afraid, stood firm. "You cannot take the starlight from our village. The stars are a gift to us, and we will protect their light." The battle of light and darkness. Elara summoned her courage and, with the help of the celestial beings, began to battle the Star of Shadows. The star sprites and moonbeams used their combined light to counteract the dark force. Elara fought with a glowing staff she had received from a kind star sprite, using it to channel the light of the cosmos. The battle was fierce, with darkness and light clashing in a dazzling display. Elara's determination and the support of the celestial beings slowly began to overpower the Star of Shadows. The dark entity struggled against the powerful light, its form flickering and weakening. With one final surge of energy, Elara struck a decisive blow. The Star of Shadows shrieked and dissolved into the void, its dark influence vanishing from the constellation. Restoring the bridge. As the darkness receded, the starlight began to return. The Silver Swan constellation shone brightly once more, and the magical bridge of starlight reappeared, arching across the night sky. Elara watched in awe as the bridge's light cascaded down to Lumina, restoring its vibrant glow. The celestial beings gathered around Elara, their faces filled with gratitude. "You have saved the balance of the cosmos and protected the gift of starlight," a radiant moonbeam said. "For your bravery, we grant you a fragment of the Silver Swan's light." Elara received a small, glowing pendant, which would always remind her of her adventure and the bond between her village and the stars. A hero's return. Elara returned to Lumina, where she was greeted with cheers and celebrations. The villagers rejoiced as the bridge of starlight illuminated their homes once more. Elara shared her tale of bravery, and the village celebrated her as a true hero. The starlight bridge continued to shine brightly, a symbol of hope and the eternal connection between Lumina and the cosmos. Elara's story became a cherished legend, inspiring future generations to value the light and beauty of their world. And so, under the ever-bright starlight, Lumina thrived, forever protected by the courage and spirit of one brave girl who saved the night. Once upon a time, in a charming little village surrounded by rolling green hills, there was a curious shop known as Whispers of Wonder. The shop was owned by an old woman named Elara, who was renowned for her collection of magical artifacts and whimsical curiosities. Among the many treasures in her shop was an exquisite music box made of polished wood and adorned with intricate carvings of stars and flowers. This music box was said to be enchanted, though no one knew its true power. In this village lived a kind-hearted boy named Finn. Finn was known for his adventurous spirit and his love of music. He often played his flute by the river and dreamt of discovering magical places. One day, while exploring Whispers of Wonder, Finn was drawn to the music box. The soft, melodic tune it played was both soothing and enchanting. Elara noticed Finn's fascination and smiled warmly. "Ah, the music box," she said. "It's a very special piece. It's said that whoever listens to its melody will find their heart's deepest wish." Finn's eyes sparkled with curiosity. "Do you really believe that?" he asked. Elara nodded. "I do. But remember, magic often requires belief and courage." That evening, Finn sat by the river, listening to the music box's tune. As he listened, he thought about his deepest wish, to find a place where music could be heard and shared by everyone, a place where dreams and melodies intertwined. He wished for a magical realm where music brought people together and filled their hearts with joy. The next morning, Finn awoke to find the music box glowing softly. A note appeared, written in shimmering ink: "Follow the melody to find your heart's desire." Excited and determined, Finn set out on a journey guided by the music box's melody. He ventured into the forest, where the trees seemed to sway in rhythm with the tune. The path led him to a hidden glen, bathed in a warm, golden light. In the center of the glen stood a magnificent tree, its branches adorned with glowing musical notes. As Finn approached the tree, he heard the music box's melody growing louder. Suddenly, the tree's bark parted to reveal a shimmering door. Without hesitation, Finn stepped through the door and found himself in a magical realm known as Harmonia. Harmonia was a land where music and magic flourished. The skies were filled with colorful musical notes, and the air was alive with harmonious melodies. Enchanted creatures played instruments, and magical beings danced gracefully, their movements creating beautiful symphonies. Finn marveled at the sight, and as he wandered through Harmonia, he came across a grand concert hall where a magnificent orchestra was playing. The music was unlike anything he had ever heard, uplifting, joyful, and full of wonder. The audience, a diverse mix of magical beings and creatures, was captivated by the performance. At the end of the concert, the conductor, a wise and graceful being named Lyra, noticed Finn. She approached him with a warm smile. "Welcome to Harmonia," she said. "I see you've discovered our world. What brings you here?" Finn explained his wish for a place where music could bring people together. Lyra listened attentively and nodded. "You found the very heart of Harmonia. Here, music has the power to unite, heal, and inspire. But our realm is in need of a special gift, a new melody that will bring hope and joy to everyone." Lyra handed Finn a magical baton, adorned with sparkling gems. "Will you help us create this melody?" Honored, Finn accepted the baton and joined the orchestra. He poured his heart into composing a new piece, drawing inspiration from the beauty of Harmonia and the melodies he had heard. The music flowed from his soul, creating a melody that was both moving and uplifting. As the orchestra played Finn's composition, a magical aura enveloped Harmonia. The melodies resonated through the land, bringing harmony and joy to every corner of the realm. The magical beings rejoiced, and Finn felt a deep sense of fulfillment. With the melody complete, Lyra thanked Finn for his gift and presented him with a special token, a silver music note pendant. "This will remind you of the magic of Harmonia and the power of music. Whenever you play your flute, remember that you have the ability to inspire and bring joy to others." Finn returned to his village, carrying the pendant in a heart full of newfound inspiration. He shared the magical music he had created with the villagers, and soon, the village was filled with joyous music and laughter. The villagers gathered regularly to share melodies and stories, and the village became a place where music truly brought people together. And so, Finn's wish had come true. The music box's magic had led him to Harmonia and back, where he had discovered the power of music to unite hearts and create joy. The village thrived with the spirit of harmony and song, and Finn's adventure became a beloved tale of wonder and magic. And under the twinkling stars and the gentle melodies of the night, the village and its inhabitants lived happily ever after, their hearts forever touched by the magic of the enchanted music box. The end. Once upon a time, in a peaceful kingdom called Eldoria, there was a shimmering lake known as Silver Lake. The lake was famous for its crystal-clear waters and the way it reflected the moonlight like liquid silver. However, it was also said to harbor a great secret that no one had ever uncovered. In the village of Rivendell, near the lake, lived a young boy named Finn. Finn was adventurous and loved exploring the woods and streams that surrounded his village. He often heard tales about Silver Lake's mysterious past but had never ventured too close to it, as the villagers believed it was enchanted and avoided the lake after dark. One evening, as the full moon cast a silver glow over the lake, Finn decided it was time to uncover the secret of Silver Lake. Armed with a lantern, a notebook, and his trusty dog, Bramble, he set out towards the lake under the light of the moon. As Finn approached the lake, he noticed that the water seemed to glow even more intensely. The light danced across the surface, creating intricate patterns. He followed the edge of the lake until he reached an ancient willow tree with a hollow trunk. Inside the hollow, he found an old, ornate key. Curious, Finn took the key and continued around the lake until he came across an old stone archway covered in vines. The archway led to a hidden entrance beneath the water's edge. Heart pounding with excitement, Finn used the key to unlock a hidden latch on the archway, which slowly creaked open. Bramble barked with excitement as Finn entered the hidden passage. The passageway led to an underground chamber bathed in the soft glow of bioluminescent plants. In the center of the chamber was a pedestal with a magnificent silver box. The silver box was intricately engraved with symbols and patterns that seemed to shimmer with a light of their own. Finn carefully opened the box, and inside, he found an ancient scroll and a delicate silver locket. As Finn unrolled the scroll, he saw that it was a map showing a constellation in the night sky and instructions for a ritual to be performed under the full moon. The scroll explained that the silver locket was a magical artifact that could only be activated by someone with a heart full of courage and kindness. With the instructions in hand, Finn and Bramble returned to the lake. As the full moon rose high in the sky, Finn followed the map's instructions and placed the locket in the center of the lake. The moonlight reflected off the locket, creating a mesmerizing pattern on the water. Suddenly, the water of Silver Lake began to ripple, and a soft, melodic song echoed through the chamber. From the depths of the lake, a beautiful mermaid named Elara emerged. She was adorned with shimmering scales and had a crown made of moonlight. Elara thanked Finn for finding the locket and performing the ritual. She explained that she had been guarding the secret of Silver Lake for centuries. The lake's magic had protected her and her kin, and the locket had been the key to maintaining the enchantment. Elara revealed that the true secret of the lake was its power to grant one wish to someone who proved their bravery and kindness. She asked Finn to make his wish. Finn thought carefully. He realized that while he could wish for anything, what mattered most was the well-being of his village and the protection of the magical lake. He wished for the lake to remain a source of wonder and harmony for the kingdom, ensuring its magic would continue to benefit the people of Eldoria. Elara smiled warmly at Finn. "Your wish is wise and selfless. The magic of Silver Lake will remain, and its light will continue to guide and inspire." With that, Elara and the magical water of the lake began to retreat back into the depths. The silver locket, now glowing with a steady light, floated back to the surface, and Finn retrieved it to keep as a symbol of his adventure. As Finn returned to Rivendell, he shared his tale with the villagers. They were amazed by the story and celebrated the continued magic of Silver Lake. The lake became a cherished part of their lives, a place of reflection and wonder. And so, the legend of Silver Lake grew, a reminder of the bravery and kindness of a young boy who uncovered its secret and made a wish for the greater good. The lake continued to shine with its silver light, guiding and inspiring all who visited. Once upon a time, in the kingdom of Eldoria, there was a small village named Willowbrook. This village lay at the foot of a mystical mountain called Starfall Peak, which was said to be the dwelling place of the fabled Starry Crown. The Starry Crown was a magical artifact that could grant its bearer immense wisdom and prosperity. Many had tried to retrieve it, but none had succeeded. In Willowbrook lived a humble shepherd boy named Thomas. Thomas was known for his gentle heart and his kindness towards all living creatures. He often spent his days tending to his flock and dreaming of adventures. One night, as he lay under the starry sky, a bright shooting star streaked across the heavens and seemed to land on Starfall Peak. Thomas took it as a sign and decided to set off on a quest to find the Starry Crown and bring prosperity to his village. Early the next morning, Thomas packed a small satchel with bread, cheese, and a flask of water. He bade farewell to his family and his beloved sheepdog, Luna, who insisted on accompanying him. With Luna by his side, Thomas began his journey toward Starfall Peak. As they made their way up the mountain, the path became steeper and more challenging. They soon came to a dense forest known as the Whispering Woods. The trees seemed to murmur secrets, and the air was thick with enchantment. Thomas and Luna pressed on, guided by the light of the moon. In the heart of the forest, they encountered a wise old owl named Athene. "Who dares to enter the Whispering Woods?" Athene hooted. Thomas explained his quest, and Athene, sensing his pure intentions, decided to help. The journey to the Starry Crown is fraught with peril, she said. But I will guide you as far as I can. With Athene's guidance, Thomas and Luna continued through the forest. They faced their first challenge at the Crystal Cavern, where the path was blocked by shimmering, jagged crystals. Athene advised Thomas to listen to the song of the crystals to find the way through. Closing his eyes, Thomas heard a melodic hum and followed it, leading them safely through the cavern. Next, they reached the Silver Lake, whose water sparkled under the moonlight. The lake was home to a gentle water spirit named Seraphina. To cross the lake, you must solve my riddle, Seraphina said. Her voice was soft and melodious as she asked, "What is it that you can keep after giving it to someone else?" Thomas pondered the riddle for a moment and then replied, "A promise." "Correct," Seraphina said with a smile. She created a bridge of light across the lake, allowing them to pass. As they continued their ascent, they came upon the final challenge, the guardian of Starfall Peak, a magnificent dragon named Draken. His scales shimmered like the night sky, and his eyes glowed with ancient wisdom. "Why do you seek the Starry Crown?" Draken asked, his voice rumbling like distant thunder. Thomas, with Luna by his side, spoke of his village and his desire to bring wisdom and prosperity to his people. Draken listened intently and then nodded. "To prove your worth, you must face your greatest fear." A swirling mist enveloped Thomas, revealing his deepest fear, losing his loved ones and failing his village. But Luna's steadfast presence gave him courage. He stood tall and declared, "I will not be afraid, for my heart is filled with love and hope." Draken, impressed by Thomas's bravery and pure heart, granted him passage. At the summit of Starfall Peak, under the light of 1,000 stars, Thomas found the Starry Crown resting on an ancient stone altar. As he touched it, a radiant light enveloped him, filling him with wisdom and strength. Thomas and Luna returned to Willowbrook, where the villagers welcomed them with joyous hearts. With the power of the Starry Crown, Thomas helped his village flourish. Crops grew bountifully, the wells were never dry, and the people lived in harmony and happiness. The legend of Thomas, the shepherd boy who braved the perils of Starfall Peak to bring prosperity to his village, was told for generations. And the Starry Crown remained a symbol of hope and courage, shining brightly for all to see. And they all lived happily ever after. I hope you enjoyed this fairy tale. In a realm above the clouds, where the sky sparkled with 1,000 twinkling stars, there was a curious cloud named Nimbus. Nimbus was not like the other clouds. While they were content floating and drifting, Nimbus loved to explore and ask questions. His fluffy form was always changing shape as he floated around the sky, searching for adventures. One clear night, as Nimbus was drifting lazily, he noticed something unusual. One of the stars was not shining brightly like the others. It was faint and flickering, as if it was struggling to stay in the sky. Nimbus's heart went out to the little star. He floated closer and saw that it was the Star of Everglow, known for its radiant light that guided travelers. "Why are you so dim?" Nimbus asked gently. "I've lost my way," the Star of Everglow replied in a faint voice. "I need to return to the Celestial Haven, where I draw my strength. Without it, my light will fade." Nimbus felt a pang of sympathy. "I can help you find your way back to the Celestial Haven." The Star of Everglow's light brightened slightly with hope. "You would do that for me?" "Of course," Nimbus replied enthusiastically. "I love adventures, and this sounds like a wonderful quest." So, Nimbus and the Star of Everglow set off together, guided by the soft glow of the star. They traveled across the sky, through constellations and nebulae, but soon realized they were lost in the vastness of space. Suddenly, they came across a wise old comet named Cosmo, who was streaking across the sky. "Greetings, young Nimbus and Star of Everglow," Cosmo called out. "What brings you to this part of the sky?" Nimbus explained their predicament, and Cosmo's tail shimmered thoughtfully. "To reach the Celestial Haven, you must find 3 ancient celestial objects," Cosmo advised. They are the Moonstone, the Celestial Compass, and the Luminous Map. They will guide you to your destination. Thanking Cosmo, Nimbus, and the Star of Everglow continued their journey. Their first challenge was to find the Moonstone, said to be hidden in the heart of the moon. They arrived at the moon's surface, a serene place with silver dust. There, they encountered a moon rabbit named Luna, who was busy preparing mooncakes. "Hello, Luna," Nimbus said. "We're looking for the Moonstone. Can you help us?" Luna smiled warmly. "To find the Moonstone, you must answer a riddle. I rise in the morning and set at night. I am always in sight but never held tight. What am I?" Nimbus thought carefully and then replied, "The sun." Luna clapped her paws. "You are correct. The Moonstone is hidden beneath the silver dust. Take it, and it will help you." Nimbus and the Star of Everglow found the Moonstone and thanked Luna before continuing their journey. Next, they needed to find the Celestial Compass, which was said to be guarded by the ancient Star Guardians. They traveled to a starry realm filled with swirling galaxies and floating islands. They found the Star Guardians, for celestial beings who radiated a calming light. To obtain the Celestial Compass, the Star Guardian said, "You must solve our challenge. Each of us will ask a question, and you must answer all three correctly." The first Guardian asked, "What has keys but can't open locks?" "A piano," Nimbus answered confidently. The second Guardian asked, "What can be broken without being touched?" "A promise," Nimbus replied. The third Guardian asked, "What goes up but never comes down?" "Your age," Nimbus answered. The Star Guardians were pleased. "You have answered correctly. The Celestial Compass is yours to guide you." With the Celestial Compass in hand, Nimbus and the Star of Everglow continued their quest. Finally, they needed the Luminous Map, which was kept in the Celestial Library, a magnificent place filled with glowing books and scrolls. In the library, they met the Keeper of Stars, an elegant being who glided gracefully among the shelves. To gain the Luminous Map, the Keeper said, "You must show the worth of your heart. Tell me, what is the most important thing in the universe?" Nimbus and the Star of Everglow thought deeply. Finally, Nimbus said, "Love and friendship are the most important. They light up even the darkest places." The Keeper of Stars nodded approvingly and handed over the Luminous Map. "You have shown true wisdom. The map will lead you to the Celestial Haven." Following the map, Nimbus and the Star of Everglow traveled through swirling galaxies and shimmering nebulae until they finally reached the Celestial Haven. The Star of Everglow's light grew brighter and stronger as it reunited with its home. "Thank you, Nimbus," the Star of Everglow said gratefully. "You have restored my light and helped me find my way." Nimbus beamed with pride. "I'm glad I could help. It was a wonderful adventure." The Star of Everglow's light spread across the sky, making the stars shine even brighter. Nimbus returned to his place among the clouds, knowing that he had made a difference. From then on, the story of Nimbus and the Star of Everglow became a beloved tale among the stars. It reminded everyone that even the smallest light could guide others through the darkest of times. The magic of the Starlit Tree. Once upon a time, in a quaint village nestled between rolling hills and dense, mystical forests, there was a legend of a magnificent tree known as the Starlit Tree. This tree was said to grant one special wish each century to someone pure of heart, under the light of a rare blue moon. In this village lived a young boy named Finn. Finn was known for his kindness and his adventurous spirit. Every night, he would gaze up at the stars, dreaming of the wondrous Starlit Tree and its magical powers. The villagers often spoke of the tree's power to heal and bring happiness, but it had been many years since anyone had seen it. One evening, as Finn was helping his mother with the harvest, she shared that the blue moon would soon rise, making it the perfect time to seek out the Starlit Tree. Filled with excitement and determination, Finn decided to find the tree and use its magic to help his village, which had been struggling with a harsh drought. The quest begins early the next morning. Finn packed a small satchel with essentials, a map he had found in an old book, a loaf of bread, a flask of water, and a warm cloak. He set off into the forest, following the map's directions that led to the Starlit Tree. As Finn ventured deeper into the forest, he came across a babbling brook with sparkling water. The brook was blocked by a series of stepping stones, some of which were moving. He noticed a friendly frog sitting on a rock nearby. The first challenge, the frog's riddle. The frog croaked, "To cross this brook, you must answer my riddle. What has keys but cannot open locks, has space but no room, and you can enter but never go outside?" Finn thought for a moment and replied, "A piano." The frog hopped aside, revealing a stable path of stones. Finn carefully crossed the brook and continued his journey. The second challenge, the enchanted glade. As Finn walked further, he reached a beautiful glade where the trees were adorned with sparkling fireflies. In the center of the glade stood a wise old tree with a door carved into its trunk. A soft, ethereal voice spoke from the tree, "To proceed, you must solve this riddle. I can be cracked, made, told, and played. What am I?" Finn thought hard and then answered, "A joke." The door in the tree opened, revealing a glowing path that led deeper into the forest. Finn followed the path with hope in his heart. The final challenge, the starlit tree. The path led Finn to a hidden grove where the starlit tree stood, bathed in the soft, silvery light of the blue moon. The tree was adorned with shimmering leaves and delicate blossoms that twinkled like stars. At its base was a small, ornate box. Finn approached the tree, and a gentle voice spoke, "To use the magic of the starlit tree, you must make a wish from the heart, for the tree grants its magic to those who seek to help others." Finn closed his eyes and made his wish, "I wish for my village to have abundant water and fertile lands, so that everyone may prosper and be happy." As he spoke, the box at the base of the tree opened, and a soft, golden light poured out. The light spread across the grove, and Finn felt a warm, comforting breeze. The return home. When Finn returned to his village, he was greeted with awe and joy. The once dry fields were now lush and green, the river flowed freely, and the village was bustling with renewed energy and happiness. The villagers celebrated Finn's bravery and kindness. The magic of the starlit tree had brought prosperity and joy to everyone, and the tale of Finn's quest was told and retold for generations. The starlit tree became a symbol of hope and the power of selfless wishes. Finn's village thrived, forever touched by the magic of the tree and the heart of a young boy who wished for the happiness of others. And so, the village continued to prosper, illuminated by the gentle light of the starlit tree, and Finn's name was cherished for his courageous and noble quest. Once upon a time, in the heart of the Whispering Forest, there stood a small, hidden village named Eldoria. The village was known for its lush gardens and shimmering streams, but its most remarkable treasure was the enchanted mirror, an ancient artifact said to grant one wish to the pure of heart. The mirror was kept in a grand oak tree in the center of the village, adorned with delicate vines and flowers that bloomed year-round. The villagers revered it, but no one had ever used its magic. It was believed that the mirror chose when it was time for a wish to be granted, revealing itself only when the need was greatest. One day, a young girl named Alara, with eyes as bright as the morning sun, arrived in Eldoria. She had traveled from a distant land, searching for a cure for her ailing mother. Alara had heard tales of the enchanted mirror and hoped it might hold the answer to her prayers. Alara was greeted warmly by the villagers, who listened to her story with kind hearts and open ears. The village elder, a wise old woman named Serafina, invited Alara to stay at her cottage and promised to help her in any way she could. As days turned into weeks, Alara's hope began to wane. Despite her efforts and the kindness of the villagers, her mother's condition grew worse. The enchanted mirror remained hidden, its magic dormant. One evening, as the sky turned shades of gold and pink, Alara took a solitary walk through the forest. She wandered to the grand oak tree, feeling a mix of desperation and resolve. With tears in her eyes, she spoke softly to the tree, "If the enchanted mirror truly exists, I beg you to show yourself. My mother is suffering, and I don't know what else to do." Suddenly, the air around the oak tree shimmered with a soft, golden light. The tree's bark parted, revealing the enchanted mirror in all its glory. Its surface gleamed with an otherworldly light, reflecting not just Alara's image but her heartfelt plea. The mirror spoke in a gentle, melodic voice. "Alara, You have shown great courage and love for your mother. The mirror grants one wish to those who seek it with a pure heart. What is your deepest wish? Elara's heart ached as she replied, I wish for my mother to be healed and to be able to return home with me. The mirror's light grew brighter, enveloping Elara in its warm glow. She felt a sense of peace and hope wash over her. The light slowly faded, and the mirror's surface became calm once more. The next morning, Elara received word from home. Her mother had miraculously recovered overnight. The doctors were baffled, but Elara knew it was the magic of the enchanted mirror that had saved her mother. Filled with gratitude, Elara returned to Eldoria to thank the villagers and to bid them farewell. Serafina smiled warmly and said, The enchanted mirror is a symbol of hope and love. It has chosen you because your heart is as pure as the light it holds. As Elara left Eldoria with her mother, she knew that the village and its magical mirror would always hold a special place in her heart. The enchanted mirror continued to shine in the Whispering Forest, waiting for the next pure-hearted soul who might need its magic. And so, in the heart of the Whispering Forest, the legend of the enchanted mirror lived on, a beacon of hope and the magic of selfless love. Once upon a time, in a kingdom where flowers whispered secrets and trees sang lullabies, there was a hidden garden known only to the moon and the stars. This enchanted garden was a place of wonder, where flowers glowed with their own light and the air was filled with the scent of magic. It was ruled by a gentle fairy queen named Eloan, who watched over the garden with great care. In the village nearby, lived a young girl named Lila. She had always been fascinated by the tales of the enchanted garden but had never seen it with her own eyes. Every night, she would look up at the moon and wonder about the mysterious garden that lay hidden from the world. One evening, as the full moon rose high in the sky, a soft, melodious tune filled the air. The song was so beautiful that it seemed to reach right into Lila's heart. Driven by curiosity and wonder, she followed the melody through the dark woods and over the rolling hills. As she walked, the moonlight seemed to guide her path, and soon she arrived at a large, ivy-covered gate. The gate was adorned with sparkling gems that shimmered in the moonlight. Lila pushed open the gate, and it creaked softly as she stepped into the garden. The sight before her was breathtaking. The garden was a sea of luminescent flowers and shimmering leaves. The moonlight bathed the garden in a silvery glow, and fireflies danced like stars among the blooms. At the heart of the garden stood a majestic tree with silver branches and a trunk that seemed to sparkle with every color of the rainbow. As Lila wandered through the garden, she noticed a particularly radiant flower growing at the base of the tree. It was a moonflower, known for its magical properties. The moonflower was said to grant a single wish to those pure of heart. Just as Lila approached the moonflower, a soft voice spoke from behind her. "Greetings, young traveler," said Queen Eloan, emerging from behind the tree. She was a delicate fairy with wings like gossamer and a crown made of moonlight. "I am Queen Eloan, the guardian of this enchanted garden." Lila was awestruck and managed to stammer, "I've heard stories about this place and the moonflower. I came to see if the stories were true." Queen Eloan smiled warmly. "The moonflower is indeed magical, but it is not just for wishing. It's a symbol of hope and dreams. However, it can only grant its gift to those who show kindness and bravery." As they spoke, a sudden gust of wind swept through the garden, and the sky darkened ominously. The enchanted garden was being threatened by a dark force, the shadow of despair, a creature that thrived on sadness and darkness. The shadow began to cast a veil of gloom over the garden, dimming the light of the moonflower. Queen Eloan's face grew worried. The shadow of despair seeks to consume the light of the moonflower. Without it, the garden will fall into darkness, and its magic will be lost forever. Without hesitation, Lila took a deep breath and stepped forward. "I will help you. I want to save the garden and the moonflower." Queen Eloan nodded in approval. "Brave and kind-hearted indeed. To defeat the shadow of despair, you must find the 3 hidden crystals of light that are scattered throughout the garden. These crystals will restore the moonflower's glow and drive away the shadow." Lila accepted the challenge and set out to find the crystals. she ventured through the garden, solving riddles and overcoming obstacles. The first crystal was hidden in a pond guarded by a wise old turtle who only revealed it when Lila answered a question about the importance of hope. The second crystal was nestled within a grove of trees that sang songs of bravery. To obtain it, Lila had to recite a poem of courage from her heart, demonstrating her resolve and strength. The third crystal was hidden high in the branches of the silver tree, and to reach it, Lila had to climb and face her own fears of heights. As she reached for the crystal, she felt a surge of determination and confidence. With the 3 crystals in hand, Lila returned to the moonflower. She carefully placed the crystals around the flower, and their combined light began to shine brightly. The moonflower's glow intensified, pushing back the darkness of the shadow of despair. The shadow shrieked and writhed as the light grew stronger, eventually dissipating into the night. The garden was saved, and its magic was restored. The moonflower bloomed more beautifully than ever, and the garden's enchantment was even more radiant. Queen Aloan thanked Lila for her bravery and kindness. "You have shown that true magic lies in the heart's courage and hope. The moonflower has granted you one wish." Lila thought for a moment and then said, "I wish for the garden's magic to always in a land where rolling hills kissed the sky and meadows stretched as far as the eye could see, there was a small, peaceful village called Elderglen. The village was renowned for its tranquility and the gentle, melodious songs of its river, which wound through the heart of the village, shimmering under the sunlight. At the edge of Elderglen stood a grand, ancient oak tree known as the Heartwood. This tree was not only the oldest in the land but also the keeper of a mysterious secret. It was said that the Heartwood held a magical sapphire, which protected the village from any harm and kept the balance of nature in harmony. One bright spring morning, the village awoke to find that the river's music had changed. Instead of its usual soothing melody, it now carried a discordant, ominous tune. The villagers were troubled and gathered around the Heartwood to discuss the strange phenomenon. It was then that the wise old storyteller, Alara, spoke up. "The Heartwood has always protected us with the magic of the sapphire," she said. "If the river's song is disturbed, it must mean that something has happened to the sapphire." The village's youngest resident, a brave and curious girl named Lila, stepped forward. "I'll find the sapphire," she said. "I've always felt a special connection to the Heartwood. Perhaps I'm meant to help." The villagers were initially hesitant but soon recognized Lila's determination and agreed to let her embark on the quest. Alara gave her a small, leather-bound journal and a compass that had been in her family for generations. "This journal will guide you with ancient wisdom," Alara explained. "And the compass will point you towards the heart of the problem." With the journal and compass in hand, Lila set off on her journey. She ventured deep into the forest, where the trees were dense and shadows danced in the dappled light. The compass needle swung erratically, guiding her towards an ancient, forgotten pathway. After a day of travel, Lila reached a hidden glen where the trees grew in an unusual formation, a perfect circle around a solitary, majestic waterfall cascading into a crystal-clear pool. In the center of the pool was a small island with an intricately carved stone pedestal. Upon the pedestal rested a large, brilliant sapphire that glowed with a mesmerizing light. Lila approached the pedestal cautiously and noticed a series of runes inscribed around the base. She opened the journal and began to decipher the runes, which spoke of an ancient spell that bound the sapphire to its protective magic. The runes revealed that the sapphire was in danger of being stolen by a dark sorcerer who sought to disrupt the balance of nature for his own gain. As Lila completed the spell, a shadowy figure emerged from the trees, an old sorcerer with a cloak as dark as the night. His eyes gleamed with malicious intent. "The sapphire belongs to me," he hissed. "It will serve my power, not your village's peace." Determined to protect her home, Lila stood her ground. "The sapphire's magic belongs to nature and to those who honor it," she declared. "It will not be used for evil." The sorcerer laughed and tried to seize the sapphire, but as his hand reached for it, the sapphire's light flared brightly, casting a protective shield around it. Lila realized that the sapphire's magic was linked to the purity of intention and the strength of her own resolve. Summoning her courage, Lila recited the ancient spell she had deciphered from the journal. As she spoke the final words, the sapphire's light intensified, forming a beam that struck the sorcerer and encased him in a glowing prison. The sorcerer's dark magic was no match for the sapphire's protective enchantment. With the sorcerer subdued, Lila carefully returned the sapphire to its rightful place on the pedestal. The magic of the sapphire surged through the air, restoring harmony to the river's song and the balance of nature. The waterfall's waters sparkled with renewed brilliance, and the glen was filled with a sense of peace and serenity. Lila made her way back to Elderglen, where the villagers welcomed her with cheers and celebration. The river's melody was once again a gentle, soothing tune, and the heartwood stood tall, its protective magic stronger than ever. From that day on, Lila became a cherished hero in Elderglen. She continued to explore the mysteries of the land and share her adventures with the village. The heartwood and the sapphire remained symbols of the balance and protection of nature, reminding everyone of the importance of bravery, purity of heart, and the magic that resides within each of them. And so, the tale of Lila and the Sapphire Guardian was passed down through the generations, a story of courage, magic, and the unbreakable bond between nature and those who protect it. Once upon a time, in a village nestled between rolling hills and dense, whispering forests, there was a garden unlike any other. This garden was said to be enchanted, hidden away behind a tall, ivy-covered gate that no one had opened for generations. It was known only through the tales told by the village's elders, who spoke of flowers that sang lullabies and trees that told stories. The village was small and charming, but life there had grown a little dull. The villagers worked hard, tended to their fields, and cared for their animals, but the magic and wonder that once filled their lives had faded into memory. The only one who still believed in the tales of the enchanted garden was a little girl named Lila. Lila was curious and adventurous, with a heart full of dreams and a mind full of questions. Every evening, she would sit by the gate and imagine what lay beyond it. She imagined flowers that shimmered like stars and trees that whispered secrets of faraway lands. One summer's day, as the sun began to set and the sky turned into a canvas of orange and pink, Lila noticed something peculiar. The gate, which had always been locked tight, was now slightly ajar. Her heart raced with excitement as she pushed the gate open just enough to squeeze through. On the other side, Lila found herself in a garden that seemed to glow with an ethereal light. The flowers were indeed like stars, their petals radiating soft, shimmering colors. The trees were tall and majestic, their leaves rustling with the gentle hum of ancient psalms. The air was filled with the scent of blooming roses and the sound of melodies that seemed to come from nowhere and everywhere all at once. As Lila wandered deeper into the garden, she heard a soft voice singing a lullaby. She followed the sound and came upon a small, clear pond. Floating above the pond was a tiny, shimmering figure, a fairy with delicate wings that sparkled like dew in the morning sun. The fairy was singing to the water lilies, which were swaying in rhythm with the melody. "Hello," Lila said softly, not wanting to startle the fairy. The fairy looked up with a twinkle in her eye. "Hello, little one. I am Lyra, the guardian of this garden. Few have ventured here in many years." Lila's eyes widened with wonder. "Is it really true? Do the flowers sing and the trees talk?" Lyra smiled and nodded. "Yes, indeed. This garden is a place of magic and dreams. It reflects the beauty and wonder of the world. But it is also a place that needs to be protected. Only those with a pure heart and a sense of wonder may enter." Lila's face lit up with a smile. "I've always believed in magic. I've dreamed of seeing this garden with my own eyes." Lyra's eyes softened. "Then you are truly welcome here. But before you go, there is something I must show you." With a wave of her tiny hand, Lyra led Lila to a large, ancient tree at the center of the garden. Its trunk was wide, and its branches reached up like arms toward the sky. At the base of the tree was a small door, intricately carved with symbols of stars and moons. "This is the Tree of Wishes," Lyra explained. "It holds the power to grant one true wish to someone with a heart full of dreams." Lila gazed at the tree in awe. "I don't know what to wish for. There are so many things I could ask for." Lyra nodded. Think carefully, for your wish must come from the heart and reflect the true nature of what you desire most. Lila thought long and hard. She thought about her village and how the magic and wonder seemed to be missing from their lives. She thought about how much she wanted to share the beauty of the garden with her family and friends. Finally, she closed her eyes and made her wish. I wish for the magic of this garden to bring joy and wonder to my village, so that everyone can feel the same happiness and wonder I feel now. The tree of wishes glowed softly as Lila spoke her wish. The leaves rustled, and the air seemed to hum with a gentle energy. Lyra smiled warmly at Lila. Your wish is a beautiful one, Lyra said. It is granted. The magic of the garden will now touch the hearts of your village. As Lila turned to leave, the garden seemed to embrace her with a warm, glowing light. She stepped back through the gate, which closed gently behind her, leaving her with a sense of peace and fulfillment. In the days that followed, the village began to change in wonderful ways. The fields flourished with vibrant flowers, the animals seemed to sing with joy, and the villagers found themselves smiling and laughing more than they had in years. The magic of the enchanted garden had spread its wonder to their lives, and the village was once again filled with the beauty and joy that Lila had wished for. And as for Lila, she never stopped believing in magic. She knew that it was not just in gardens or fairies, but in the dreams and kindness that lived in every heart. And so, the village thrived, always remembering the girl who believed in magic and made a wish for the happiness of others. And they all lived happily ever after. Once upon a time, nestled between towering mountains and the serene, shimmering lake, there lay a forgotten kingdom named Eldoria. Long ago, Eldoria was known for its breathtaking beauty and the wisdom of its people. However, a terrible curse had fallen upon the land, casting it into darkness and erasing it from the memories of neighboring kingdoms. The curse could only be broken by a humble soul who truly loved the land. In a small, bustling village far from Eldoria, there lived a kind-hearted carpenter named Rowan. Rowan was known for his craftsmanship and his generous nature, always willing to help those in need. One day, while wandering through the forest in search of the finest wood, Rowan stumbled upon an old, crumbling bridge. Curiosity sparked within him, and he decided to follow the overgrown path that lay beyond. After hours of trekking through dense woods and steep hills, Rowan found himself standing before the gates of an ancient, abandoned city. The air was thick with an eerie silence, and the buildings, though majestic, were covered in vines and moss. Rowan's heart ached at the sight of such a once beautiful place fallen into ruin. As he explored the deserted streets, he came across an old, dusty library. Intrigued, Rowan stepped inside and found a book that seemed untouched by time. It was a diary, written by the last queen of Eldoria, Queen Seraphina. The diary told of a powerful curse placed upon the kingdom by a jealous sorcerer, who envied the peace and prosperity of Eldoria. The curse could only be broken by a pure-hearted individual who could restore Eldoria's spirit and rebuild its beauty. Rowan, moved by the queen's words and the plight of the kingdom, decided to stay and try to lift the curse. He began by repairing the buildings, starting with the library. His days were filled with hard work, but his nights were filled with hope as he read more about Eldoria's history and its people. One day, while repairing a broken window in the palace, Rowan found a small, hidden chamber. Inside, he discovered a beautiful, ornate harp. According to Queen Seraphina's diary, the harp was enchanted and had the power to summon the spirit of the land. Rowan carefully carried the harp to the grand hall and began to play a soft, melodious tune. As the music filled the air, a gentle light began to emanate from the harp. The spirit of Queen Seraphina appeared before Rowan, her eyes filled with gratitude and sorrow. "Brave carpenter," she said, "your love for this land has awakened me. To lift the curse, you must find the 3 lost relics of Eldoria, the crown of wisdom, the shield of courage, and the heartstone of love. Only then can the kingdom be restored to its former glory." Determined, Rowan set off on his quest to find the relics. His first stop was the Whispering Woods, where the crown of wisdom was said to be hidden. The woods were filled with ancient trees that whispered secrets to those who would listen. Rowan, with patience and respect, listened to their whispers and discovered the crown buried beneath a mighty oak tree. Next, Rowan journeyed to the Cavern of Shadows, where the Shield of Courage was guarded by a fearsome dragon. Rowan approached the dragon with humility and spoke of his quest to save Eldoria. The dragon, moved by Rowan's bravery and sincerity, bestowed upon him the shield, recognizing the courage in his heart. Finally, Rowan ventured to the Lake of Reflection, where the Heartstone of Love lay hidden beneath the tranquil waters. To retrieve it, Rowan had to confront his own deepest fears and doubts, seeing them reflected in the water's surface. With a pure heart and unwavering determination, Rowan dived into the lake and emerged with the glowing Heartstone in his hand. With the 3 relics in his possession, Rowan returned to Eldoria and placed them on the altar in the palace's grand hall. As he did, the ground trembled, and a radiant light enveloped the kingdom. The curse was lifted, and Eldoria began to bloom once more. The buildings were restored, the skies cleared, and the people, long forgotten, returned to their beloved land. Queen Seraphina appeared before Rowan once again, her spirit now at peace. "You have saved Eldoria, brave carpenter," she said. "Your love and dedication have brought life back to this kingdom. You shall be remembered as the hero who restored our land." Rowan, though humbled, insisted he had merely done what was right. He continued to live in Eldoria, helping to rebuild and guide the people. Under his care, the kingdom flourished and became a beacon of hope and prosperity. And so, the tale of Rowan, the brave carpenter who lifted the curse and restored the lost kingdom of Eldoria, was passed down through generations, reminding all that even the humblest of hearts can achieve greatness. The end. Once upon a time, in the kingdom of Eldoria, there was a brave and kind princess named Isabella. Eldoria was a land of beauty and wonder, but it was also a land shrouded in mystery. At the edge of the kingdom lay the Enchanted Garden, a place filled with magical flowers, talking animals, and hidden secrets. The garden was said to be guarded by a powerful enchantress named Morgana, who only appeared to those pure of heart. One day, as Isabella strolled through the palace grounds, she overheard 2 of her father's advisors discussing a grave matter. A terrible drought had struck Eldoria, and the kingdom's crops were failing. The rivers were drying up, and the people were beginning to suffer. Desperate to help her people, Isabella decided to seek out Morgana and ask for her aid. That night, under the light of a crescent moon, Isabella donned a simple cloak and left the palace, slipping past the guards and into the forest that bordered the enchanted garden. The forest was thick with ancient trees and shimmering flowers that seemed to glow in the moonlight. As Isabella ventured deeper, she heard a rustling in the bushes and saw a pair of glowing eyes. "Who goes there?" a voice demanded. It was a small, fox-like creature with fur as white as snow and eyes that sparkled like sapphires. "I am Princess Isabella of Eldoria," she replied. "I seek Morgana, the enchantress, to ask for her help in saving my kingdom." The creature's eyes softened. "I am Phelan, a guardian of this forest. Morgana does not reveal herself easily, but I will guide you if your heart is true." With Phelan leading the way, Isabella navigated through the twisting paths and hidden clearings of the enchanted garden. Along the way, she encountered magical beings, a wise old owl who shared ancient wisdom, a playful sprite who offered a song of encouragement, and a gentle deer who showed her a hidden spring to quench her thirst. After a long journey, they reached a beautiful glade where a grand tree stood, its branches shimmering with golden leaves. In the center of the glade, surrounded by flowers that glowed with their own light, was Morgana. Her presence radiated a gentle but powerful aura. "Princess Isabella," Morgana said, her voice melodic and soothing, "I know why you have come. Your heart is pure, and your intentions are noble." Isabella bowed deeply. "Please, Morgana, my kingdom is suffering. We need water to end the drought and save our crops." Morgana nodded. "I will help you, but first, you must prove your worthiness. You must undertake 3 challenges that test your bravery, wisdom, and compassion. Only then can I grant you the gift to save your kingdom." Isabella agreed without hesitation. The first challenge was a test of bravery. Morgana led her to a dark cave where a fierce dragon named Draconis guarded a precious gem called the Heart of the Mountain. Isabella approached Draconis with respect and courage, speaking calmly and offering a gift of a golden apple. The dragon, recognizing her bravery and goodwill, allowed her to take the gem. The second challenge was a test of wisdom. Morgana presented Isabella with a riddle: I speak without a mouth and hear without ears. I have no body, but I come alive with the wind. What am I? Isabella thought carefully and then answered, an echo. Morgana smiled, pleased with her wisdom. The final challenge was a test of compassion. Morgana took Isabella to a field where a group of animals was trapped by a magical barrier. Isabella, using the heart of the mountain gem, dissolved the barrier and freed the animals, showing her compassion and kindness. You have proven yourself worthy, Princess Isabella, Morgana said, her voice filled with pride. She handed Isabella a crystal vial filled with water from the enchanted garden's sacred spring. This water will end the drought and restore life to your kingdom. With the vial in hand, Isabella hurried back to Eldoria. She poured the magical water into the kingdom's main well, and as it mixed with the groundwater, a miracle occurred. Rain clouds gathered, and gentle rain began to fall, replenishing the rivers and reviving the crops. The people of Eldoria rejoiced, and the kingdom flourished once more. King Elder, Isabella's father, was filled with pride and gratitude for his daughter's bravery and determination. Isabella's journey to the enchanted garden became a legend, inspiring generations to come with tales of her courage and kindness. And so, Princess Isabella and the Kingdom of Eldoria lived happily ever after, their bond with the enchanted garden forever strong, and their hearts always filled with the spirit of bravery, wisdom, and compassion. The end. In a quaint village nestled at the edge of a great forest, there lived a humble lantern maker named Elias. Elias was known for crafting the most beautiful lanterns, each one filled with a soft, magical glow that seemed to dance with its own light. His lanterns were cherished by all the villagers, who used them to light up their homes and festivals. One crisp autumn evening, as Elias was closing his workshop, a mysterious old woman appeared at his door. Her cloak was tattered, and her eyes sparkled with an ancient wisdom. She introduced herself as Isolde, a traveler from a distant land. I have heard of your remarkable lanterns, Isolde said, her voice like a soft breeze. I have a special request for you. Elias welcomed her in and listened as Isolde explained her request. She wanted a lantern that could hold the light of the moon, a lantern that could shine with a magic so pure it would help guide lost souls back to their paths. Elias was intrigued and agreed to the challenge. Isolde handed him a small vial filled with a silvery liquid. This is moonlight essence, she explained. It will help you capture the moon's light. But remember, the lantern must be made with a heart full of kindness and courage. The lantern's creation over the next few days, Elias worked tirelessly on the lantern. He crafted the frame from the finest silver and adorned it with intricate patterns of stars and moons. Each night, he carefully mixed the moonlight essence into the lantern's glass, watching as the liquid shimmered and glowed with a soft, ethereal light. Despite his efforts, the lantern's light seemed to flicker uncertainly. Elias felt a growing sense of doubt. He worried that he might not be able to create the lantern that Isolde had asked for. One night, as Elias sat by his workbench, he heard a soft knock at his door. It was a young girl named Clara, who had come to ask Elias for help. Her beloved pet cat, Luna, had gone missing, and she was heartbroken. Elias immediately offered to help Clara search for Luna. He took his lantern with him, hoping that its light might guide them. They searched through the village and into the forest, calling for Luna. The lantern's soft glow illuminated their path, but Luna was nowhere to be found. The forest's mystery. As they ventured deeper into the forest, the lantern's light began to shine brighter and steadier. The trees seemed to part for them, guiding their way. Soon, they came across a hidden grove bathed in moonlight. In the center of the grove was a large, ancient tree with a hollow trunk. To their surprise, Luna was curled up inside, safe and sound. Clara's eyes filled with tears of joy as she scooped up her furry friend. Elias noticed something extraordinary. The lantern's light had turned into a warm, steady glow, illuminating the grove with a magical radiance. He realized that the lantern's true power was not just in capturing the moon's light, but in the kindness and courage behind it. The lantern's true magic. When Elias and Clara returned to the village, Isolde was waiting at the workshop. She examined the lantern, now glowing with a steady, magical light that seemed to pulse with life. "You have created something truly special," Isolde said, smiling warmly. "The lantern's magic comes not only from the moonlight essence but from the heart that made it." Isolde explained that the lantern's light had a unique ability to guide and protect those who were lost, reflecting the kindness and courage of the one who crafted it. It had helped Clara find her beloved pet and had illuminated the path in a time of need. A new beginning. With her task completed, Isolde prepared to leave. She thanked Elias for his hard work and presented him with a beautiful, ancient book of lantern-making techniques, filled with spells and designs from across the ages. Elias felt a renewed sense of purpose and inspiration. He continued to make lanterns for the village, but now each lantern was imbued with a bit of the magical glow he had discovered. The villagers marveled at the new light, which seemed to shine with an even more profound magic. As for Clara, she often visited Elias and shared stories of how the lantern's light had guided her and her family through dark times. The lantern had become a symbol of hope and guidance for the entire village. And so, the humble lantern maker and his enchanted lantern brought light and warmth to many lives, thanks to a bit of moonlight, a kind heart, and a touch of magic. The end. Once upon a time, in the charming village of Evergreen, nestled at the edge of a vast, whispering forest, there lived a young girl named Clara. Clara was known throughout the village for her bright spirit and her love for the night sky. She often spent her evenings gazing up at the stars, dreaming of far-off lands and adventures. One crisp autumn evening, as Clara was exploring the attic of her grandmother's old house, she discovered an antique lantern covered in dust. It was a beautiful lantern, adorned with intricate carvings of stars and moons, and it had a small, glowing crystal at its center. Curious, Clara decided to clean it up and see if it still worked. As soon as Clara polished the lantern, the crystal began to glow with a soft, golden light. The lantern flickered to life, casting a warm, inviting glow throughout the attic. Clara was amazed and decided to take the lantern outside to see what it might reveal. That night, the moon was full and bright, casting its silvery light over the village. Clara carried the lantern into the forest, following a path she had never taken before. As she walked deeper into the woods, the lantern's glow grew brighter, illuminating a trail of shimmering lights that seemed to guide her way. Following the magical lights, Clara arrived at a hidden glen surrounded by towering trees and bathed in moonlight. In the center of the glen was a small, enchanted pond with water as clear as crystal. At the edge of the pond was a tiny, ancient stone archway that seemed to sparkle with a magical aura. The lantern's light grew even more brilliant as Clara approached the archway. As she stepped through it, she found herself in a mystical realm, unlike anything she had ever seen. The sky was a swirl of deep blues and purples, and the land was filled with glowing flowers and sparkling trees. At the center of this magical realm was a grand castle made entirely of shimmering moonstone. In the castle's courtyard, Clara saw a regal figure, a kind-faced fairy queen with wings that glittered like stardust. The fairy queen welcomed Clara with a warm smile and explained that the lantern she had discovered was a magical artifact known as the Star Lantern. It was said to hold the power to reveal hidden places and guide those who sought to restore balance to the magical realm. The fairy queen explained that the realm had been cast into darkness by a powerful spell, and the only way to lift the spell was to find and return the missing moonstone, a gem of great power that had been stolen by a rogue sorcerer. The sorcerer had hidden the moonstone in a maze of illusions, and no one had been able to retrieve it. Determined to help, Clara accepted the challenge and set out to find the moonstone. Guided by the Star Lantern's light, she ventured into the maze. The maze was filled with confusing paths, magical traps, and illusions that tested her courage and wit. As Clara navigated the maze, she encountered various creatures who needed her help. She freed a trapped fire sprite, mended a broken wing of a fairy, and solved riddles that revealed hidden pathways. Each act of kindness and bravery brought her closer to the heart of the maze. Finally, Clara reached the center of the maze, where the rogue sorcerer was guarding the moonstone. The sorcerer was surprised to see a young girl with such determination and courage. Clara bravely faced the sorcerer and spoke from her heart, explaining how the realm's darkness had affected everyone and how she wanted to help restore the light. The sorcerer, moved by Clara's sincerity, realized the error of his ways and willingly returned the moonstone. With the moonstone in hand, Clara made her way back to the Fairy Queen's castle. As Clara placed the moonstone in its rightful place, the magical realm was bathed in a brilliant, rejuvenating light. The darkness lifted, and the land was once again filled with vibrant colors and enchanting beauty. The Fairy Queen and the magical inhabitants celebrated Clara's bravery and kindness with a grand feast and a magnificent display of fireworks that lit up the sky. As a token of their gratitude, the Fairy Queen gifted Clara a small, enchanted veil filled with moonlight, which would allow her to visit the magical realm whenever she wished. With her heart full of joy and her spirit enriched by her adventure, Clara returned to her village. The star lantern remained a cherished memento of her journey, and she often shared her story with the villagers, reminding them of the magic that lies in kindness and bravery. And so, Clara's adventure became a beloved tale in Evergreen, and the magical realm continued to shine brightly, a testament to the power of a brave heart and the light of a true hero. Once upon a time, in a quaint kingdom nestled between rolling hills and sparkling rivers, there was a beautiful forest known as Everwood. Everwood was no ordinary forest. It was home to magical creatures and plants that glowed with an ethereal light. The most precious treasure of Everwood was a brilliant star that hung above the forest like a luminous guardian, keeping the forest safe and vibrant. One day, as the forest creatures prepared for the annual Moonlight Festival, a dark cloud swept over Everwood. The star, which had always shone brightly, began to dim. Panic spread among the animals as they realized that the star was missing from its place in the sky. The wise old owl, Ali, called an emergency meeting. "We must find the star and bring it back before the Moonlight Festival begins," Ali hooted. "Otherwise, Everwood will lose its magic and fall into darkness." Among the forest's inhabitants was a brave young fox named Fern. Though small, Fern was known for her cleverness and unyielding courage. She stepped forward and volunteered to find the missing star. Ali gave her a shimmering map that showed the forest's hidden paths and landmarks. Fern set off on her quest, guided by the map and the whispers of the forest. Her first stop was the enchanted stream, a place where the water sparkled like diamonds. There, she met a wise old turtle named Tiberius. "The star is in grave danger," Tiberius said with a slow, deliberate voice. "It was stolen by the Shadow Sorcerer, a dark figure who resides in the cursed cavern. You must seek his help to find the star." Fern thanked Tiberius and continued her journey, heading toward the cursed cavern. The cavern was known for its twisting tunnels and eerie shadows. As Fern approached, she saw the entrance covered in thick, black vines. Summoning her courage, she pushed through and entered the cavern. Inside, the cavern was filled with echoes and shadows. Fern carefully made her way through the dark tunnels until she reached a large chamber. In the center of the chamber sat the Shadow Sorcerer, a mysterious figure cloaked in darkness. The sorcerer held the star, which had lost its brilliance and now glowed dimly. "Why have you taken the star?" Fern asked, trying to sound brave. The Shadow Sorcerer looked at Fern with tired eyes. "I did not want to steal it. The star's light was fading because of the darkness that has settled in my heart. I wanted to hold it close to see if I could restore its light." Fern felt sympathy for the sorcerer. "But the star belongs to Everwood. It keeps the forest alive. Without it, the forest will lose its magic." The sorcerer sighed. "I understand now. I will return the star, but only if you can help me with one thing. I need to find a way to heal the darkness in my heart." Fern thought for a moment and then said, "There is a special flower in the heart of Everwood called the Moonlight Blossom. It has the power to heal and restore. If we find it, we might be able to help you." Together, Fern and the Shadow Sorcerer journeyed back to Everwood. With the sorcerer's help, They navigated through the forest and found the moonlight blossom glowing softly under the light of the full moon. The sorcerer held the blossom close, and its gentle light began to fill him with warmth and peace. As the darkness in his heart faded, the star's light grew brighter and more vibrant. Fern took the star and placed it back in the sky, where it shone even more brightly than before. With the star restored, Everwood was once again bathed in its magical glow. The forest celebrated the Moonlight Festival with great joy, and the Shadow Sorcerer, now transformed by the light of the Moonlight Blossom, was welcomed as a friend. Fern was hailed as a hero, and the forest creatures were grateful for her bravery and kindness. The sorcerer promised to protect Everwood and to use his powers for good from that day forward. And so, Everwood continued to thrive, glowing with the star's light and the magic of friendship. Fern's courage had not only saved the forest but had also brought a lost soul back into the light.